Hey guys, what is going on? TGIF! Yes, TGIF! You are checking out an all-new The RCWR show coming at you guys for this May 24th, 2019. TGIF! Oh my god. We'll explain why we're doing a Friday edition of the RCWR show, but at the time that we're recording this for you guys right now, it is Friday afternoon. How the hell y'all been, man? I know we haven't done a show for you guys pretty much all week when you really stop and think about it, but I'm glad we were able to end the streak now for you guys. I'm gonna be with you for the next little bit. As always, we talk all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond, and been doing so since 2011, so come one, come all. And if you are new, welcome. I would love for you to stick around, check out all of the great content that's going to be coming your way on a somewhat semi-daily, definitely a weekly basis. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Definitely follow me all throughout social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. So yeah, man, look, we got to set this up properly. Okay, so you guys know that I've been saying for the past couple of weeks now, hey, once the NBA, hey, Noah, hey, Kelton, what's up? I said once the NBA season is over, that's when I was going to go on ahead and bring the show back to Tuesday nights. Because right now, we're just coming on Wednesdays, right? But then, what happens? We get to Wednesday, and I was feeling so burned out because of work. I have been dealing with a couple of different projects at work that has been real head scratchers. It's been a little bit mentally draining, definitely a bit stressful. And so Wednesday when I came in, it was just, but then on a lighter note, and big shout out to the Viceland Network, okay? We got hit with a double whammy, right? So, as some of you all know, within recent weeks, I've given a lot of praise to the Dark Side of the Ring series. Love that, and I can't stress it enough. If you get Viceland, and that's a series you have not checked out yet, and you are a wrestling fan, you need to make it be your business to check out that series already. There's like no excuse, especially if you are a fan of revisionist wrestling history, right? Or maybe you're a parent now and you want for your child to experience some of the things that you experienced growing up, and they're a bit older. You know, I would say if they're at least in the double digits, because some of that stuff on Dark Side of the Ring is pretty heavy, right? Then check that series out, right? So I really had enjoyed what I saw with the Viceland series, Dark Side of the Ring, that I hit up the network and I said, look, love the series. Is there any way we could set something up and interview some of the guys from Dark Side? And they said, oh yeah, sure. Well, you know, the season just wrapped up because we only had a 6-episode arc. So what we're trying to do now is really push out this new series that we got on Viceland called The Wrestlers, and that's hosted by Damian Abraham. I said, oh yeah, sure, no problem. We could definitely help you guys out. We could definitely help promote that. Not a problem whatsoever. So it was agreed upon that, all right, so first off, we'll give priority to Damian. No problem. So I want to say it was this Monday we got everything officially finalized. I want to say it feels like maybe it was Sunday, but I'm going to go with Monday just to be on the safe side. We got things finalized with Damian, and my sit down with Damian was going to go down that Tuesday. So I had to make sure that NBA playoffs or not, I had to make sure Tuesday I was available to talk with Damian. But then as I'm finalizing the sit down with Damian, Viceland execs hit me back and they go, okay, well, we also now want for you to interview Evan Husney, producer of Dark Side of the Ring, and there was a director, Jason, I cannot think of the last name right now, but I want to say it was Jason, definitely Jason for sure. They said, well, we want you to interview those two guys. Okay, so wait a minute. So I'm going to talk to two guys at the same time? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm just checking. Like, I've never done that in show history. Anybody that's been a long time listener knows I've never had on the show two or more people at the same time and I'm talking to them. Actually, you know what? Let me stop and think about that. You know what? I did do it one time in the show history. Oh my God. And we're talking about the old. If you go back with me that long, God bless you. But you would have to go as far back as the old Blog Talk Radio days. I'm talking 2013 to like 2011 to 2013, early 2014. You got to go back with me to the old Blog Talk Radio days. I remember we had a Christian hip hop rapper named Scooter that was on there. And there was a wrestler by the name of Justin Reno. And I remember we had both of those guys on. But, it really wasn't, when I stop and think about it, it really wasn't that much of an interview. It was more like they were hosting the episode with me. So it was actually a 3-man effort. So I guess if you really want to get technical, this would have been a first that in RCWR history, I'd sit down and interview two people at the same time. But then just when it sounds as though that's what's going to happen, I get word, well, no, it looks like it's only going to be Evan. Okay, all right, sure, no problem. All right, not that I'm sweating it. It would have been a cool experience, but it's kind of like, okay, well, that's great. I can now just focus on one person. So, okay, well, we're going to give you Damien Tuesday, and then we're going to give you Evan Wednesday. So it was, okay, great. So Evan wanted to have our earlier chat. And so I thought for sure it was going to be a case where, okay, I'll be able to talk to him a little bit later, do what I need to do, and bada bing, bada boom, I'm done. Do the Wednesday night show, get back to some NBA action, I'm good to go. Evan wanted an earlier time, so it was, oh, okay, yeah, sure, no problem. Here's where the hiccup comes in. So Wednesday night, I get done talking with Evan. Great fucking conversation. Patreon members will be able to hear that. That's going to be dropping this weekend. Because as you all saw, we went on ahead and dropped the interview with Damien. More on that in a little bit. So we do the conversation and everything with Evan on Wednesday. Everything, boom. All right, it's good to go. So Evan was cool as shit too. Sweetheart, he was like, look, man, I know you're doing your thing. You got your mixer, you got your recorder and everything, but I'm going to record at my end just in case. I said, okay, sure, no problem. And once it's done, I'll sing you my parts. Yeah, no problem. So we get done. I'm feeling good. Go in. And now I'm saying, all right, let me go back to Damien and let me edit that. And I'll just splice that into Wednesday's live stream, right? I go to Damien, and the audio was kind of, okay, that's a little, what's going on here? My audio was hot, and that terminology, for those of you that don't know what the hell I'm talking about, podcasters and people that mess with audio know this. Hot basically means very loud, distorted, whatever. So my parts were a little bit, they were loud, they were hot. So I had to go back and clean that up. By the time I got done cleaning that up, I lost track of time and, oh shit, I'm supposed to be on the air. So sadly, there was no way I could do the show Wednesday. So as you all saw, we put out a presser Thursday saying, okay, we're going to do a show Thursday. Get home Thursday, burned out from work even more. And I get in and my girl is like, you are in no condition to do a show. You might as well forget about it. Why are you pushing yourself like this? That's great dedication and everything. That's great that you're doing what you're doing for your listeners and everything, but you got to give yourself an opportunity to properly rest. And honestly, you're off work on Friday. Knock on wood, because of the whole more holiday break and all that, right? Some people had to work. Hey, I'm the lucky motherfucker, right? Like, it makes more sense to just go ahead and do it Friday. You'll have the whole house to yourself. You can be as loud as you want and all that. Not that that's ever a problem, but it's you can be as loud as you want. Hell, you can do the show in your boxers, which is actually what I'm doing right now. Yeah, hey, sometimes it's good to go behind that fourth wall. You know, usually I wear jeans or sweatpants or pajamas. I'm very loose today. It is fucking casual Friday at the time that we're doing this show. So I said, okay, yeah, sure. Let's go ahead. Yeah, all right, you're right. Let's go ahead. Let's do it Friday. So that brings us to where we are today. I know that was a kind of a long-winded, but I like coming at you guys with the fun little stories. It's the shit in between that leads up to the show that sometimes I find to be the most fascinating, right? Because you just like, sometimes you just don't know. It's so much more than just, okay, here's the show. You know, it's like all the bullshit that kind of happens in between. It's hilarious, but I'm glad that we're doing this show for you guys now. I mean, we're pretty much a day away from the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view event. Just a little bit that I've seen so far on social media. Man, I tell you what, man, out there in Las Vegas, they got it made out there. I don't know if you guys had seen some of the images yet, but shout out to Pro Wrestling Tees. They actually have a really cool ass shop setup out there in Las Vegas. I mean, they got this entire space. It ain't no cubicle bullshit, right? We're not talking about no C2E2 or Comic Con. You walk up to a booth and there's the Pro Wrestling Tee guys. Go get something off of their tables. They actually, I believe it is in the casino shopping area part or whatever. I would actually have to go back in. If you're following me on Twitter, I'll definitely share the info with you guys. I'll share it on Facebook as well. But they actually have a space inside of a gorgeous building out there. And, you know, it's almost like they have replaced KB Toys or some shit like that. It's almost like they replaced the Toys R Us, and it's just an AEW store. Right, and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. AEW Pro Wrestling Tee Store, it is awesome. What all they are doing out there. Good luck to those guys, and we'll definitely are going to be talking a lot more AEW in just a little bit. So yeah, man, at the time that we're doing this, we're a day away from the Double or Nothing pay-per-view event. I am legitimately excited, just as excited as I was when it came to the All In event. Okay, let's see what they're going to do. Yeah, you know, when it's all said and done and you look at All In, yeah, there was no CM Punk when it was all said and done, right? No CM Punk. But when you looked at that event overall, it was, okay, this is decent. Let's see what you can do from here. Let's see how you're able to build from here and go forward. And everything that's pretty much just gotten us to the point that where we are right now. You know, I am excited from the standpoint of it's really awesome that there's even more variety out there. And even though I've been a very big advocate for many years now when it comes to going out there and getting variety, right? Getting that wrestling variety. You've heard me say it over and over and over again, especially if it's a case where, man, I'm just so tired of what's happening with this one promotion, blah, 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 blah. I've always said variety, just go out there, challenge yourself. There's so many other, and you know, in the conversation that I had with Damien, which is available for you guys now, don't think I didn't forget about why you all got Damien and not the Evan conversation. I'll get to that in a little bit, but let me finish talking about AEW for now, which is, you know, it's great that we have the variety. It is. And when I see a promotion like AEW and I see that the Khan family are behind this, it raises my eyebrow because I go, okay, so here is without a shadow of doubt a direct number 2 to the WWE. And it's kind of like, all right, you have my attention. Let's see what you're able to do. But I'm more excited from the standpoint of the fans, particularly the younger fans, right? Most of us that are in our 30s or older, we lived through the Monday Night War, right? We lived through ECW, right? So, you know, there's all these things that we can go back and we can say vividly, yeah, remember when this go down. I remember when, my God, just the other day, literally, and we're going to talk about it later, it's the 20th anniversary. I think it hit the other day or the day before, the 20th anniversary since the passing of Owen Hart, right? So there were some iconic moments, be it good, bad, and different, that went down in our lifespan so far. And to see these younger fans, I can remember how it was when ECW came along, right? Under Paul Heyman and everything. I can remember the Monday night, all of that I just said. And I remember the excitement. I remember the buzz that was in the air. I remember how being a young kid in school, going to school the next day and asking people, did you see Raw? Did you see WCW? You know, oh man, what happened on what happened on ECW this week? Say what? You know, I can remember all of that. And over the years, it's really significantly died down. It's died down to that point where you could be at school or you could be at work and somebody hears that you're bringing up wrestling. To quote Jim Ross, it's, wait a minute, you still watch that shit, right? You know, that shit's still on, right? Man, I remember the Hulk Hogan's and and they're pretty much outdating themselves as far as when they had last checked it out. But to their credit, the names that they're bringing up is at a time when it was most relevant, right? So I'm excited from the standpoint of these younger fans that want to feel as though they can be part of something special, that they can be part of something cool, that they can be part of something from the ground up. I'm excited for them that potentially they're going to be able to experience to a degree what we had experienced. It will never be, I don't believe, anything to what came about years before, right? But I'm still excited for the younger fans, nonetheless. So I just find the whole process so interesting. Yeah, you know, I was talking about the whole Damien. So you guys probably saw on social media, I had put a poll out. And I had said to you guys, hey, look, which one do you want to hear? Whichever one you want to hear, that's the one you're going to hear as part of that week's RCWR show. And shout out to the knucklehead that said, left a comment, neither. I'm like, are you even a damn subscriber? Because most people would not even say that. If there's one thing, of a few things that people like about this show, they love when I get the opportunity to sit down and interview people. Because unlike most people that play the whole fucking footsie and they want to do baby step questions and they're walking on eggshells. I'm not saying I'm Geraldo Rivera, you know, I'm not anything like that or anything, or Donahue, right? But, you know, if you say to me, you know, hey, Lee, I got a serious question. Okay, well, what's your question? All right, well, here it is. I don't care if it's too taboo. I don't care if it's risque. You know, I will ask the question. Unless that guest says to me, hey, look, before we begin, I just got to let you know that I'm not going to talk about this, so please do not bring it up. Very rare in show history have I had a guest that has said, yeah, look, stay away from that topic. Don't bring it up. And I will usually let listeners know on the air as I'm talking with that guest, hey, the conversation topic of, we're going to respect them as that's an area that they don't want to go in. And I got to respect that, right? Otherwise the conversation is over, right? So, but yeah, there was one, you know, of a few things that people like about this show. It's whenever I get the opportunity to interview people. And I always hear the same thing over and over again as far as compliments. And I do appreciate the compliments, which is, man, the way you sit down and you talk to these guests, you talk to them, it's almost like a conversation that you're having with them, as opposed to question, answer. And that's really cool. So to see the one comment on YouTube where some guy, and he didn't even vote. That was the kicker. He didn't even vote. He just, I don't want to hear neither. It's like, are you even a fucking subscriber? Like, seriously. Weird, because I've been noticing off and on the past couple of weeks now, I've been getting non-wrestling fans commenting on the YouTube channel, and I've been getting non-wrestling fans commenting on wrestling content on the Facebook page. Fucking weird, right? Yeah. Very, very fucking weird, man. But I put a poll out asking you guys, Damien or Evan, which one do you want to hear? And it looked as though Evan was going to be the winner. But then, as I'm trying to edit Evan's audio, I see that, and I procrastinated at the last minute because I was like, nah, this is in the bag. I'll have this hooked up in about 15 minutes. I go to Evan's audio. Evan's audio was hot. So like what I recorded was hot. And it wasn't me. It was the software that I used, right? Because Skype did this weird shit. I am so fucking tired of Skype. It's not even funny. Skype is not what it used to be, right? And anybody that knows a thing or two about audio and all that shit, you know, usually if you're trying to bring in guests or, you know, a co-host, Skype has been like the fucking lifesaver, right? But now it's getting to that point where they've done so much backward shit with that Skype. It's not even funny. And they haven't exactly been that kind to third-party plugins that will allow you to record Skype conversations, things of that nature. So, you know, for me, and I've been playing around with the Discord. I've been loving using Discord, and I played around with it a little bit. Discord had an option where you could record audio and everything. We've actually streamed some shows through Discord, and everybody was like, hey, audio quality is on point, it's awesome, right? And so it's nerve-wracking with regards to the Skype. So I ended up having to get like a different software program just to be able to talk to these guys, because I wasn't getting the option to record the audio and everything. And then the software that I did use to record the audio, Damien's was fine, except my parts were hot. But then in the case of Evan, his audio was hot of what was recorded at my end. So I go, well, shit, I'm good to go, because Evan said he was recording his audio at his end, so he could just send me his shit, and then, okay, all right, I've got the file, I'm good to go. I get Evan's audio. Evan's audio was way too low. Way too low. I looked at that audio, and just looking at the sound wave format, it was, holy shit, I got a lot of cleaning up to do. So I just said, Damien wins by default. That's going to be a lot more easier to clean up and edit. Whereas Evan was going to be much more complicated. Fuck that shit. I'll just deal with Evan on the weekend and pump it out to the Patreon members. But for those of you that are going, oh man, I can't afford Patreon, you know, otherwise I would, I'll put that out to you guys probably, let me see here. I will probably put that out to you guys next week. And I don't want people getting the impression that I'm rambling, because I'm not rambling. We're talking all things wrestling. You know, that is what you're getting right now. Okay, we are talking. I say that because there was a comment that was in the chat room just now. If you're new, this is how the show is. We're fucking loose over here. If you want a show that just basically fires it up, WWE Raw this week. It came to us from Columbus, Ohio. In attendance was 4,000 people, and the show had kicked off with a video package, and afterwards there was a commercial for Sonic Foods. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Fuck that shit. Ain't nobody got time for that fucking shit. You want a show that does that and doesn't interact with you, doesn't make you feel like you can be at ease and all that other shit, man, go take that bullshit elsewhere. But if you want it real loose over here, you know, laid back, then you're in the right place, okay? But anyway, so where I want to begin with the show for this week, a lot of shit had went down. Like I said, I'll talk about AEW in a little bit. Let me talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw. God bless Mick Foley. Really, God bless Mick Foley. I sincerely fucking mean that. Mick Foley is somebody I've had a lot of respect for some decades now. I appreciated all of the contributions he's made to the sport of professional wrestling. It was such a great and a high honor to meet him a couple of years back at DC Improv for his one-man show. That guy was just fucking awesome. And to the knucklehead saying, so this show is PG-13, you just heard me curse like a motherfucker. No, the show is not PG-13. Whoever said, why would you even make the assumption that the show is PG-13? You know how many times I've mentioned vagina, dick, motherfucker, and all kinds of stupid shit on this goddamn show. You gotta be kidding me. You out your damn mind. LPH is good, or however you pronounce your name. But anyway, no, I've had a lot of respect for Mick Foley. I really, really have. But Mick Foley, that must have been really, really tough. I could only imagine to hear the backlash of that crowd. And you could see him fumbling a little bit with his words. You could just see from a physical stature standpoint that Mick Foley was kind of taken back by the reactions that he had received from the crowd. And I totally get that. Now, I see afterwards in a somewhat WWE.com exclusive, but also on social media, he legitimately felt that he really did not go out there and hit a home run. He felt really bad. He felt that as far as promos go, that wasn't one of his best. And you know what? To the contrary, how Mick Foley was out there and he set everything up. And I played that back after I had saw what he had said, read what he said online. I went back while I still had it on my DVR and I watched it again. And no, from the moment that he had came out, the fans were in the palm of his hands. You already had the buzz coming off of the pay-per-view that Mick Foley was going to be introducing a new title. And I had asked some of you guys on Facebook, what do you think? What do you think the title is that Mick Foley is going to be introducing? And there was one person that actually had fucking called it right. And I got to show them love. I'm hoping that the comment is still here. Let me pull this up real quick. But when he came out, the fans were in the palm of his hands. They were just, oh man, what's happening? What's happening here? And so much buzz online, people going, hardcore title. Oh, Mick Foley, hardcore. Why else would he be out there? Right? Process of elimination. But the title that he introduced did not quite live up to what the fans were expecting. Duh, right? And I think what really had threw people off, even as they were hearing Mick Foley set it up, to just take the title out of that WWE bag, and it turns out it is a Flavor Flav fucking clock. Horrific fucking design too. The 24/7 title. The 24/7 title. I looked at that, and one of the first things that I thought, I thought USA executives have to be coming down on the WWE in some capacity. What's up, Nasty Nate? How you been, bro? USA executives had to be coming down on WWE to shake it up. Let's see what we can do to boost the viewership. And you know what? I've got no problem with USA coming down on the WWE. They just did this new multi-year deal with them, securing Raw for the foreseeable future. And they're seeing the type of numbers that they're getting. I totally respect and get USA saying to the WWE, you guys need to do something. What can you do to shake this up a little bit, right? That's the first thing that went into my head. The second thing that clicked, and I put this out immediately on social media, so you can go back and you can see the timestamp, right? Because I did interact with you guys during Monday Night Raw. That title, I said, wait a minute. We've already got enough titles as it is. And so I purposely went back and I looked at how many titles in the WWE are currently active, and I don't see hardly that many people bringing this up. Now, with all due respect to Lance Storm on social media is probably the only other person, one of the first people at that I saw that mentioned the title. And I said to Lance, because Lance mentioned 11, and I said, Lance, all due respect, you're only mentioning 11. Why aren't you counting the rest of the titles? Is there a particular reason why you're not counting the rest of the titles? Because by my math, from what I just checked, there's 18 titles active. 18 titles. Okay. So minus the 24/7 title, you had 17 titles that were active. So you're trying to tell me that, and this is the tweet that I put out, 18 titles, you have 8 hours of programming every single week. You have sometimes up to 12 hours of wrestling programming, all from WWE. When you add it all up, sometimes it can go up to 12 hours, maybe even a little bit past that. And when you get past all of that, all of those hours of wrestling programming and 17 fucking titles, you still can't get a motherfucker over? That was legitimately what I said online. And I was just amazed at that. There are hardly that many people, we got so many people going, oh, well, and they're trying to defend this, but it's like, no, seriously. And I know we're going to have some people that's going to look at this and they want to, oh man, oh no, WWE, they're fine. Oh man, WWE is on a roll right now. And they want to say, I cannot defend this. I will not defend this. When WWE, I've always said on this show for years, and it doesn't matter what the promotion is, when WWE is doing something right, or any promotion for that matter, is doing something right, I will respectfully give them that praise. I will give them that praise. But when they are doing something wrong, I will call that promotion out on it. I'm not just going to call that promotion out and just be what some would say a bitch fest or just a complaint. No, what I offer is constructive feedback, ways of improvement. 17 titles and this is your answer? No, that's not how you do it. Now, some of you may say, well, Lee, what should they have done? What should they have honestly done? Well, how about this for starters? How about taking something as simple as the Intercontinental title? How about taking something as the United States title and saying, you know what? Let's look at those two. Those two titles in particular are very prestigious. Those titles have a lot of history, especially when you go back and you look at all of the great men that have held those titles. You can trace those roots back very easily. Man, wow, we've got so many titles as it is. This is why, even when you factor in the wild card rule, oh, we're going to shake things up. Well, you shook things up and the ratings were flatlined. Well, what are we going to do? We're going to do a wild card rule. So basically that just negates your superstar shakeup. And you're still kind of getting numbers. USA's breathing down your neck. Okay, well, what do you do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Okay, well, let's introduce a new title. But then also with this new title, we can capitalize on social media at the same time. Thus, the 24/7 title, right? This just for me, you look at the whole superstar shakeup in general and everything, and sadly, it's been a bust. Even right down to the point, you could look at when the superstar shakeup this year first went down. Gone was the build-up, gone was the hype of the previous years. Longtime WWE fans, or even WWE fans that's been watching the product for maybe almost 10 years now, or 7 years. There used to be a time where there would be hype for the superstar shakeup. You would know in about 2, maybe 3 weeks notice that a shakeup was coming. And they would do this whole lottery ball draft system or whatever. You'd get excited and seeing the superstars' reactions on what brand they were going to be going to. It was exciting. It was very, very exciting times. But then you look at how it declined up to now it's just nonchalant, right? This whole experiment so far, just putting the 24/7 to the side, the title to the side, so far it's been a bust. And it just reaffirms in my mind that, you know what, maybe the so-called brand split needs to just come to an end already. 18 titles. Without looking on Wikipedia, can anybody truly, for one promotion, tell me every single champion that is holding a title in the WWE without looking online? And that answer is no, unless you are a eat, sleep, breathe WWE, sleep, repeat. Unless you are one of those type of mega hardcore fans, the answer is no. You're not going to be able to name. That's way too many titles just for one promotion, right? It's time to simplify things. I really feel, especially with this deal that's going to be going down with Fox and everything, SmackDown is going to be moving this fall. It just really feels like it makes all the sense in the world to just go on ahead, just combine your brands, get rid of some of these other titles, and really simplify things. And then try to put more emphasis on key titles. God, I miss the days when things were just, okay, we got like 5-7 titles. That's it. That's all we got to worry about. 5 to 7 titles. That's it. But now in 2019, we got to worry about 18 titles. You could have easily gone back and you could have applied something as simple as, remember when John Cena was holding on to the United States title and he put the open challenge out there? Sometimes you had guys from NXT, you name it, right? Okay, so when I look at a title like the US title, or when I look at the Intercontinental title, you're telling me we can't go to basics to how it was when John Cena held it? I'll never forget. And some people may not even recall this. Some people may not even were watching the WWE product during this time frame. But I remember the period where people were shitting on John Cena. Like in the last 8 years, right? Particularly. But I remember that period where when he was the United States champion and he was doing the US Open Challenge, I remember after about the first 3, maybe 4 of those matches he had, people legitimately started warming up to Cena and saying, you know what? I'll tell you what, when this dude is coming out and this the US Open Challenge, it's actually pretty damn entertaining that at one point it was one of the highlights for whatever show he was on, whether it was Raw, SmackDown. I want to say he was mainly defending it on Raw, but my memory's a little bit fuzzy. I would have to rely on you guys. But I remember when he was defending that title and it got to a point people were legitimately, oh wow, you're telling me you can't take a simple formula from what had worked a couple of years ago and apply it at present? And then let's look at the hokey dokey shit that's going on with this 24/7 title. I saw so many people say, God, it's coming off like Benny Hill. What the hell? It's coming off like a running gag. You know, what the hell? And if I were to try to defend the 24/7 title, I could defend it from this standpoint, and this standpoint only. WWE these past couple of years, and you all know this, but let's really make sure that for those that don't know, we're really painting the picture for them. You all know that WWE in particular were not too fond of social media. Way back when. They were not too fond of it. But then they kind of realized, you know what, with the rise of the way people are going about accessing their content, which is digitally, whether it's their movies, their TV shows, right? Man, Okay, so we kind of got to flow with where the culture is going. And so little by little, we saw them embrace, right? How did it start for them? I mean, Facebook kind of came much later, right? But what was one of the first things that WWE had tried to embrace that was a flop? Was it Periscope? I don't think it was Periscope. There's something else. Somebody help me out. There's in the chat. There was something that they tried to pump out there early on. I don't know if it was WhatsApp, but there was something that they kept trying to push out there for people to check out. And it really did not catch on. And so it was almost a quiet, well, let's go back to the drawing board and let's see where we can go. But then you saw them, Twitter. They came on board to Twitter kind of late. We can all be in agreement of that. They came on board to Twitter kind of late. They definitely came on board to Facebook pretty late. Facebook was kind of like the last thing that they came on board late to, because they really started embracing it, doing the whole mixed match challenge. I think there was a couple of other things that they had did. But my point is, you see how WWE is now going in this social media realm of embracement, right down to the point you now got these wrestlers that have been on the sideline, whether it's an injury or, man, what can I do to get myself over? I've pitched, and it seems like creatively WWE's not working with me. Well, what can I do? And now it seems like you've got more and more wrestlers that are taking to their social media accounts and they're trying to stir up a little something of their own in hopes that, hey, WWE, look at this. Look at the amount of tout. Thank you, Kelton. Tout. It was tout that WWE had tried to push early on. And yeah, we saw how that kind of played out, right? If those guys are still around, I don't know nothing about that. But now it's a case where you see some of these wrestlers, you know, hey, look at what I was able to say on social media. Look at how many retweets I got. Look at how many people favored this. Look at the impressions that I got off of this. Look at the engagements that I got off of this. Hey, look at how many followers I was able to get off of this, right? And you may not like it, and you may have a hard time understanding it, but in 2019 and beyond, social media engagement means a lot. It means a lot. How much so? Just part of the reason why when you go back and you look at shows like Luke Cage, Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Defenders, you look at all of those and you see how the impressions and engagement and all that was doing, right? Significant decline, sadly. So social media engagement, it does matter. It does factor in. And so to see this 24/7 title come into play that the way it is, on the one hand, I can defend the 24/7 title from the standpoint of, okay, well, you know what? It gives guys like a Mike Kanellis. It gives guys like a Eric Young. It gives guys like, well, it's safe to say he's done with the company, but until we hear officially, Lio Rush, a Drake Maverick. It does these guys that you normally do not see get airtime on the flagship shows, not even main event for that matter. It gives them an opportunity to be able to have their 15 minutes of fame. To the point, who all did you see? Some of those names, with the exception of Lio Rush, some of those names you saw on Monday night when that title, and I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that Mick Foley just laid that freaking title down in the middle of the ring. Whoever wants it, you know, come get it. It was kind of like, hey, I just finished making some good old homemade mashed potatoes, gravy, sirloin pork chops, got some green peas, and big old cup of sweet tea. If you guys want it, put it down on the floor, come get it. Ding, ding, ding. I didn't like that. It was just so, really? So we're just gonna lay the title on down? We're not gonna do some type of, I don't know, a little mini tournament? that maybe could kind of, I don't know, you need something to do in Saudi Arabia, right? Couldn't you do something where you begin your tournament and it continues on going in Saudi Arabia? Does not conclude in Saudi Arabia, but you begin it in U.S. soil. You continue it on in Saudi Arabia. You bring it on back into the States, and everything culminates next go around on your next pay-per-view back on U.S. soil. You can't do it like that. You cannot do it like that. What the fuck? Right? What the fuck? You just lay it down in the middle of the ring on TV. Hey, come get it. You want this title? Come get it. That'd be no different than somebody walking outside of a WWE store. Hey, you all walking down the street. If anybody wants this WWE title, retail value of $700, lay it on the sidewalk. Come get it. Right? That was just very, very stupid. For me, it was stupid. And Mick Foley, look, I get where Mick Foley is at this phase in his life. It doesn't mean I have to like it, though. And what I mean by that is he's at the phase of his life right now where, look, putting his humanitarian work to the side, because he does a lot of great humanitarian work. That should never be without question. Charitable things, I can't stress it enough. And that was kind of one of the things that I had learned personally when I saw his one-man show at DC Improv a couple of years ago, is just how much of a personal, charitable, and humanitarian that he is, right? But man, putting that to the side, I see where Mick Foley is at this point in his career right now. Mick Foley is at that stage where, hey, I want to play nice with the WWE. I want to play nice because my kids, this would be a great transition for them. I would like for them to some extent to be incorporated with the WWE. I get that. You want to leave those connections open. I miss that Mick Foley that would be so passionate about the things that he was seeing that were wrong with the WWE, and he would give really solid and insightful constructive feedback. He used to be, aside from Billy Graham, Mick Foley at one point used to be one of my favorite highlights as far as Facebook people go, because I used to love reading his blogs on what he thought about the WWE product. But now we're getting a Mick Foley that is defending a lot of times all of this hot garbage that's coming about with the product, that it's very hard to defend it, even if you're the hardcore legend yourself, right? Remember, this is the same Mick Foley we talked about on the show just a couple of weeks ago, where he had said, oh yeah, if it was the right amount of money, I would gladly come out of retirement, and yeah, I wouldn't mind working a Saudi Arabia show. I wouldn't mind working for the WWE for the right amount of money. I would do another Hell in a Cell match. No, Mick Foley, we're good. We are good. But you know what? Yeah, duh. Who wouldn't for that amount of money? I'm sure most people that's listening live, gonna be listening on demand or on the download, if WWE had said to you, look, after taxes, I will give you $1 million. Let Undertaker throw you off of the top of a steel cage. You'd go, fuck yeah. Where is it? Right? Yeah, come on, find me a person that would. No, I just no. What if something weird happens? No. Psh, fuck that. Sign me up. You choke slam me 3 fucking times through that damn thing for $1 million. After taxes, $1 million? Shit, some people would probably say, shit, I'd do it for $500K after taxes. If it's 500, yeah, sign me up. So I didn't like how that all had went down. What else? The Bray Wyatt thing. The Bray Wyatt, that was interesting. The Bray Wyatt thing was interesting. It was weird seeing the kids incorporated in there, having the stuff written on their foreheads and all that, and this whole psychedelic, creepy, that was very, I was kind of, whoa, what the hell's going on here? But at the same time, I also couldn't help but say to myself, okay, so where exactly do we go from here? What we've been doing so far with this Bray Wyatt character, it's been good, but how are we going to make that transition into the ring. That's still the process that I'm most fascinated by right now, because what I've been seeing in pre-production with this, I've been enjoying it. It's been one of my favorite highlights of the night, aside from the continuing build of Lacey Evans. Bray Wyatt, I've loved what has been happening with his Firehouse segments, Playhouse segments, whatever, Firefly Playhouse, I think that's what it's called. I love that shit. I love what he's doing with that shit. It's awesome. But how does it all resonate in the ring? How are we going to make that transition? I am much more fascinated in the process. No different than when we finally got Woken, Matt Hardy, and it was, okay, so how are we going to, how are we going to do that? And we kind of saw the end result, and it was, okay, so I'm very cautious right now. Like what I'm seeing, in front of the camera and the stage props, and I love all that. But how are we going to handle it in the ring? But then most importantly, after he's done what he's need to do in the ring, how are we going to make that easy transition back to him doing those segments again? Right? That's what I'm most fascinated with. And I'll tell you this, I need for WWE to stop showing people's reactions to these segments, just all segments in general, but I'm really noticing more and more and more that when it comes to these segments, Bray's segment in particular, why am I shown the back of people's heads? Why am I showing people that look like they really could give two shits not? I don't see people that are jumping up and down, and I don't want to see that, right? To the point, WWE, and I've been saying this for years now, I've been a big advocate of this, which is WWE, when you take your commercial breaks for the live audience, give them whatever cool little hookups that you need to give them, right? So for example, if you know that the next segment entails showing a Bray Wyatt Firefly Playhouse segment, well, when you take that commercial break, why not go on ahead, show that to the live crowd in attendance? And then for those that are going to be watching it, let us see what we need to see on TV. But for that live crowd, give them something of a bonus. Give them a unique experience. So, to the point, and I've been saying this for years now, bonus matches. Bonus matches, somebody comes out and they're talking, something that is just exclusive for the live crowd. Plain and simple. Maybe have somebody come out, talk on the microphone, whatever. So for example, the Bray Wyatt segments, live crowd, they see it. Like as soon as we go to our commercial break, they get that segment. Afterwards, let them get a 205 match, or let somebody come out, cut a promo or some shit like that, right? By the time you come back on TV, just go right into the Bray Wyatt segment. And afterwards, you can go right to Renee, Corey, all them guys. Then you make the transition, set up your next match, whatever, next segment, whatever, right? Not that hard. Why are we sitting there, right? That makes no fucking sense. We at home are sitting there looking at something on the TV while the people live in attendance are looking at a Titantron. That makes no that's a waste of fucking time. They gotta clean that up big time. I'm getting real fucking sick and tired of that. See what I mean by constructive criticism, ways of improvement? That's what I'm talking about. It's not complain. It's constructive feedback. Here's how you improve it. Okay? I'm hoping, hey, anything can happen. All right? Bruce Pritchard's back in the good hands of the WWE, right? So I don't know. Anything's possible, right? Not everything that Bruce Pritchard did was bad. Okay? So who knows? I'm trying to think if there was anything else from Raw that kind of took my eye a little bit, and I just want to check my notes one more time here because I'm just going off of the top of my head some of the things that kind of caught my eye here. Let's see what else here. Bear with me a second here. Yeah, that was hilarious. I actually did tweet that out. I'm sure you guys had saw that spot where Becky Lynch, Billy Kay come closer. Yeah, that was pretty freaking hilarious. Let's see. Oh, and can I go back to Cole one more time? I gotta go back to Michael Cole. That Firefly segment. Here on out, whenever Michael Cole, Corey Graves, Renee Young mention these Firefly segments, and you can go back and you can check this out. I got a big bone to pick with Michael Cole. Do not sound preppy. Do not sound happy. Do not be jubilant that you're getting a Bray Wyatt Firefly segment. I remember as they were setting this up, Cole was legitimately sounding happy. Coming up next on Monday Night Raw, we're going to see Bray Wyatt in another Firefly segment. And I'm going, dude, why are you sounding happy? You are supposed to sound very, well, wow. Guys, I'm being told we have another cryptic Bray Wyatt Firefly segment coming up next. And if it hasn't already been awkward for you viewers at home these past couple of weeks, I would imagine it's going to continue. I'm not really sure what we're going to be saying, but I'm being told we got some footage as Bray Wyatt has some type of a message for us. And folks, I guess we're all going to see that next. That's how you sell it. That's how you fucking sell it, okay? And while we're talking about reactions, Lars Sullivan was interviewed, if I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me, but if I'm not mistaken, he was interviewed by Charlie Caruso on Monday Night Raw. Never let that happen again. Never let that happen again, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. First off, Lars still needs to shave his fucking head because I feel it's kind of hurting with his stature, is making him look even more compact, and it's not making him look as menacing as he once was with the bald head. Okay, just the clean-shaven bald head. Lars, my friend, take it from somebody that sometimes I'll have my hair and then I'll be clean-shaven bald. When you go clean-shaven bald for the type of gimmick that WWE is trying to have you portray, clean-shaven, man, that's the way to go. You look more menacing, you look more intimidating. Right now, you just look like some angry, beefed-up kid who, I don't know, you didn't get lunch money from somebody you were picking on from third grade or whatever, right? So, clean-shaven, first off. But you're supposed to be this menacing figure when it's all said and done. And I'm sorry, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to focus on Lars when you have a hot-looking woman in the middle of the ring. And I don't want people to look at what I just said and, oh my God, you're being sick. No, you legitimately have women, be it they're bisexual or straight. Hey, that is a very attractive woman. Oh my God, gorgeous face, great hair. Oh my God, who does her makeup? Blah this, blah that. That's a great outfit she's wearing, right? You're looking at your age demographics that you're supposed to be tackling. Yeah, you know you're tapping into the kids, but you know it's the adults that's really tapping into the product because it's the kids. Mommy, Daddy, WWE title. Mommy, Daddy, Mommy, Daddy. Flapjacks, New Day, New Day rocks. Right? So you can't have a hot-looking babe next to somebody that is supposed to be a monster. And Charlie Caruso, no selling like a motherfucker. No selling like a motherfucker. First of all, if that would have been me booking that shit. Charlie, look, you have a great physique. Please, I'm not trying to take you to HR. I'm not trying to take you to HR. I'm just saying, you have a really great physique. We know that. But for this Lars segment, we need you to be a little bit more loose with your clothing, okay? Well, we were thinking maybe if you could kind of wear this dark, kind of loose skirt, with a top. We were thinking if you could kind of wear that, be a little bit more loose. And look, as you're talking to Lars, look uncomfortable as humanly possible. Look intimidated, look very scared. If you can, kind of crouch down a little bit, kind of look away from Lars. Don't give him eye contact. We want to really sell that this guy is menacing. But then you give me Charlie Caruso, tight ass outfit, right? She can't help the way she looks in her face. I can't control that. I will admit that. But I can definitely control what type of outfit that she's wearing, and physically, body motion wise, how she's interacting with somebody in the ring I'm trying to put over. And if I'm trying to put over a monster, those are the steps that I'm going to take. Charlie Caruso, now look, I'm not shitting on Charlie, so I don't want people to take it the wrong way. The fault lies on the people that had her go out there and no-sold like a motherfucker. Right? So they got to clean that up going forward. You should have put a Tom Phillips out there. You should have put a Byron Saxton out there. If Drake Maverick wasn't doing his thing, that's another guy that you could have had out there. Hell, even to a certain degree, you could have even had Michael Cole out there. Michael Cole knows a thing or two about selling to a motherfucker. You could have even had him out there. But putting Michael Cole to the side, put some scrawny looking motherfucker out there, right? Easy formula. Easy formula. Wins every time. But if you put a hot ass babe out there and a tight ass outfit, no selling like a motherfucker, most people are gonna, oh, who's the babe? Straight up. Yeah, Nate, I miss Mean Gene, man. Times like these, we need Mean Gene Okerlund, for sure. Also, other than that, so yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. I mean, there really wasn't anything else that jumped out at me from Monday Night Raw. It was pretty much just whoosh, an afterthought when it was all said and done. I did enjoy seeing my man Brock Lesnar come out there, and everybody else is doing their thing with him coming out rocking that Money in the Bank briefcase, but I didn't see anybody bring this up, and I think I'm the only one that has said this. I did put it out there on social media in real time while Raw was on, and I had said, my God, seeing Brock Lesnar out here with the Money in the Bank briefcase and he's bobbing it like a fucking boombox, I'm just reminded, D, motherfucker, size D. Hey, yo, put some more mozzarella on that shit. I'm talking about the late Radio Raheem from Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. That's immediately what I thought of. I'm just picturing Brock Lesnar and he's got that fucking Money in the Bank briefcase, and I'm just picturing in my head, fight the power. Fight the power. We gotta fight the power. We gotta fight the powers that be. That's all I was thinking when I was seeing Brock Lesnar out there, man. You know what? I'm actually gonna put that up on YouTube now that I've said that. I got to on that note. I like how they're doing this. I know some people are a little bit concerned about what's going on with this whole Brock Lesnar element, because Brock Lesnar with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Okay, is it possible he's gonna cash this title in and Saudi Arabia and take on Seth Rollins for the title? Is it maybe going to go down that way? And you're kind of hearing rumblings now that this possibly is what's going to be happening. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I mean, you see some of the matches that has already been announced so far with this Super Showdown event. And last I had checked, I'm going to give you guys a new update of the card here. Hang on a second here. Super Showdown. We'll just say WWE 2019. Where is it? Super Showdown. And we still don't have I gotta put it in a Wikipedia? That's all I gotta do here? Hang on, sir. There we go. That sucks. You gotta put in Wiki just to see the shit. Yeah, I mean, the way it's looking right now, I mean, the match hasn't been announced. It hasn't been announced yet that Brock Lesnar will be, right? So I hope it does not go down that way. What I personally would love to see happen, I would love to see a case come about where we know Brock is going to be in Saudi. That much we know for sure. Is it possible he could cash in the title? It's very well possible. It's very well possible he could do that. But I still like the idea of what I had said initially, which was, you know what? No. Why not kind of wait a couple of weeks right before the move to Fox goes down for SmackDown? And whatever that pay-per-view is going to be, let Kofi Kingston retain, but in a huge swerve, let freaking Brock Lesnar come out and you pretty much do it that way. Why not do it just like that? Because SmackDown is going to need all the star power that it can get on Fox this fall. Friday nights as well, right? Yeah, makes all the sense in the world. So the fact that, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping it's still going to go that way, because that's pretty much what I've been saying for a minute now. I don't know. I don't know. But the way this card is looking right now is just giving you guys another update. We got Triple H taking on Randy Orton for the upteenth time. We've got a 50-man battle royal. We've got Goldberg taking on Undertaker. Of the matches, that is one I am actually legitimately looking forward to, because I know both men are in the best shape of their lives right now. Undertaker is healthy. He's gotten his surgeries, and just the recent round, I should say, of interviews that he's done in the last 3 years. He feels he still has a lot to give. He wants to continue to go at it for a couple of more years. And he's been doing everything humanly possible. Surgery here, rehab there. He's been doing everything possible. And we saw the Undertaker that we had got these past 2 times, and it was, wow, all right, he's moving around pretty damn good, doing the leg drop, all that shit. Okay, cool. So of the matches, I'm legitimately looking forward to this one and seeing what these two guys are going to be able to do. I think we all could be in agreement. It's going to be a lot better than that DX versus Kane Undertaker thing. Ugh. Braun Strowman taking on Bobby Lashley. Finn Balor taking on Andrade for the Intercontinental title. And look at just the nonchalant way that they went about that one too. It's not going to be Finn Balor. It's just going to be Demon Balor. Demon Balor is just... I've been pitching for years now how they need to go about the Demon Balor character, and I just like how basically it's like that fucking commercial, the boost from T-Mobile. Oh, you want to switch? It just feels like that. So what do you have? I kind of feel like Demon Balor. Here you go. We're not going to get some type of a build-up, some type of a don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. We're not going to get that type of a with Demon Balor. Oh, okay. Just saying. Roman Reigns taking on Shane McMahon. Kofi Kingston taking on Dolph Ziggler. That kind of brings me to SmackDown. Sadly, I did not see SmackDown. So if there was something kind of significant you guys want me to comment on, you guys would have to say it in the chat for SmackDown, because I didn't watch it, but I was made aware that Dolph Ziggler had came back. Yeah. Hey, it's Dolph Ziggler. What more can I say? It's Dolph Ziggler. I'm happy that he's back. I just felt indifferent. It was, Dolph Ziggler's back. Okay. Cool. All right, so he's going to be taking on Kofi Kingston for the title in Saudi Arabia. Okay. I guess that's cool, right? And you got the reports that's out there that Kevin Owens did not want to go on this trip. That's the reports that's being put out there. I would say take it with a grain of salt until Kevin Owens actually speaks upon it. And that's the one thing that I'll give Kevin Owens a lot of credit for. When it comes to KO, he's very outspoken on social media, to the point that if there's something being put out there that is inaccurate, he's very quick to put a clarification out there, right? So just take that report that you're hearing with a grain of salt. Something else that kind of jumped out at me a little bit, we've got these reports that's out there about, Aleister Black is not able to go to Saudi Arabia because of his tattoos. I read this report and everybody is just copying and pasting this, and I couldn't help but say, well, wait a minute. So as it stands right now, even at the time that we're recording, None of you wrestling outlets thought of, I don't know, directly asking Aleister Black if the reports were true that he's not going to Saudi Arabia because the prince and culture and everything out there, that his tattoos may offend some people, that it's because of what's going on with his body artwork. That's why he's not going out there. Because to see people keep doing this copy paste with the, oh, it's his tattoos, that's why he's not going. I can't help but say, well, wait a minute, with all due respect, tattoos is tattoos, right? Just saying, tattoos is tattoos. Undertaker, he was in Saudi Arabia. Can't help but say Brock Lesnar. I'm also looking at Brock. So I'm like, wait a minute now, are we really sure Rey Mysterio was out there? So you're trying to tell me, here's my point, you're trying to tell me that you can't just have Aleister Black go out there wear some type of a really cool badass t-shirt and his spiked up vest or whatever and just go out there and fight that way? You're telling me we're not going to have him go out there and do that? You can pretty much get around the tattoos. It's very easy. So I'm kind of like, I don't know if I really want to buy into that. There's probably a couple more people these past couple of years that have gone to, well, I won't say couple of years because it's pretty much just been 1 year of these Saudi Arabia events, but I'm sure you guys could probably think of a couple of more people that have gone down there to the Saudi Arabia and, oh yeah, they had a tattoo, I remember, and it was shown. I don't know. I would just kind of look at that and take that with a grain of salt when it's all said and done. Hey, I want to take this time out and want to thank you guys for checking out the show. You're having a good time so far. Make sure if you haven't done so already, you do hit that like. Comments are always appreciated. It really is. And if you are new, depending on where you're checking this out, welcome. Definitely would love to have you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the great content we do for you on a weekly basis. I cannot stress this enough, as a lot of people, YouTubers, not aware of this. You got to make sure on top of hitting the subscribe button, you click the bell notification. That way you always know about new content that comes your way. I get a lot. Lee, I wasn't even aware that you had put this out. Well, is the bell notification on? No. Well, there you go. So always make sure that you're hitting on that bell notification so you know about new content that's coming your way. And also, patreon.com/RCWR show. You get to check out bonus audio content that you will not be able to find anywhere else. Again, audio, video content, a lot of good stuff, man. And I'm looking forward to this weekend because there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that I'm going to be putting out there. I am very, very, very excited. We're going to be putting out a new 30 with Lee. We're definitely going to be putting up the Dark Side of the Ring conversation with Evan Husney, producer of that series. There's even going to be a new Wrestling with the Topics that we're going to be putting out there, all in the span of now going into Tuesday, I would say, next Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to really pumping out all the good Patreon content. And it all just kicks off at just $5 a month, man. You can't beat that. So, you got $5, want to help support the show. Means a lot. Appreciate it. Check it out. Good shit. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Well, I want to recognize some of our Patreon members right now. Shout out to my good friend Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. I believe I think we might be finalizing. I gotta double check. I'm actually supposed to be popping up on their show tomorrow to talk about the AEW pay-per-view event. I gotta get with Mish and make sure we're definitely still on for that one. And also shout out to Mish, man. Mish gave me the hookup. I actually was able to get in on the Impact Wrestling conference call that went down this week. I don't know how many of you guys listen to the Impact Wrestling conference calls, but usually Josh Matthews will go over some keynotes at the opening let you know about some upfronts. I know one of the things that he had talked about. Well, you know what? We'll get into that in just a little bit because there's some audio from that I want to play for you guys. But I actually was able to talk with Tessa Blanchard as part of the press media. And there was 2 questions that I had asked her. So we'll play that for you guys in just a hot second. Yeah, Mish, appreciate that hookup, my friend. Thank you so much. Shout out to Joe Raymond Jr. Joe, I hope you have been doing well, my friend. Shout out to Michael Wolf, John Davis, and Sean Kenter. Sean was working hard last night. Hopefully you, I think you made it home okay. I think I read your message. You said you made it home okay. That's good. Hopefully you're ready for the Memorial Day holiday break as well, my friend. Patreon.com/RCWR show. So yeah, I actually was able to get in on this Impact Wrestling conference call. And, yeah, usually Josh Matthews, from what I understand, and kind of a little bit that I've heard off and on the past couple of months, he'll usually give you some information. So this week they were talking about how the first row for the Slammiversary event in Texas, the first row seats all had sold out. There were some platinum packages that were available. Those got sold out. And he noted that overall it seems to be selling pretty good. There is still a decent amount of tickets that's left to sell, but they've been selling at such a really good rate that he's pretty confident it's going to be a sellout. And he also had mentioned that this was going to be his very first time going to Texas since he joined Impact Wrestling. How about that? That's just crazy. That's just crazy. All these years. And because I think Josh has been with Impact Wrestling now, I want to say it feels like somewhere between 5 to 7 years almost. He's definitely been there at least 5. I mean, anytime I can remember him and Taz, that's been a while. So for him to just now be going to Texas, that's okay. All right, cool, brother. But yes, Tessa, a sweetheart, just a sweetheart. You know me, I've always been a big fan of Tessa Blanchard. I've loved the stuff that she's been doing all over the place. I particularly have been enjoying her work from what she's been able to do in the Wild Women wrestling promotion. And I was saying to my girl the other day, man, this girl is only 23 going on 24. Can you just imagine where this girl is going to be 5 years from now? I mean, she's already out there tearing it up. She's out there like a fucking pro. Can you just imagine where she's going to be 5 years from now? And my girl was like, yeah, that's going to be pretty scary. Like, if she's that good right now, because she's seen Tessa and she likes her too. She's like, for her to be that young, yeah, just imagine where she is going to be 5 years from now. It's amazing. She's continuing to go out there and tear it up. But I want to load up this audio for you guys so you all can hear the 2 questions that I had asked of her. And load this up here. And let me know in the chat if you guys are able to hear it, because I see there's a decent amount of you all that are checking out the stream live, and I do appreciate you guys that are taking the time out of your Friday afternoon to check out the show. But let me load this audio up, and let me know if you guys are able to hear it. Okay, it's a little silent right now, but you should be able to hear it. Hang on. Because I know at one point during the conference call...
Here? Hello, this is Carlos from Indie Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, nah. How you doing today? That ain't it. That ain't it.
Good, how are you?
That ain't it. Let's go to the next one. I know, though, true story, that little break in silence that you heard, that was actually me, and I wasn't ready at that point because, sadly, I was at the urinal at work. And when they were like, "Oh, next caller, you're on the air. Next press media member, you're live on the air with Tessa," I was holding my Johnson at the urinal, and it was, oh shit. And I didn't want for them to hear me pee, and I didn't want for them to hear the urinal flush. So that's why you heard that little bit of awkward silence. I apologize. That was me. Let me fast forward just a little bit, because I remember I called right back in. Let's pick it up right about here.
Wait, having intergender matches and changing people's opinion of them. So who knows? I think that would be a cool thing to get into and to hopefully change people's opinions as well.
This might have been me.
I definitely agree. I think right now...
Nah, that wasn't me.
Impact locker room is, we're not competing with anybody else. We simply...
To follow up on that, I know you all...
Nah, that ain't it.
Thank you.
Might be right around here, guys. I thought I had the timestamp already. Sucks.
Hey, Tessa. Lee Sanders with Wrestling Soup. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Thank you. Honored to talk to you. I have a question for you. You know, we saw a really solid cross-branding relationship with you and Kira Hogan as part of Impact Wrestling with the WOW Women of Wrestling promotion. Can you speak a bit on the relationship between Impact and WOW and how it's helped you all on the roster and the companies themselves?
I think a really cool thing about Impact is they allowed me and other talents to go and work with WOW. You're going to see a few new faces. Diamante from LAX will be joining the WOW roster. Alicia Edwards will be joining the WOW roster under their WOW superhero names. And it's a cool thing because it doesn't limit us as talent. It allows us to go out and experience different things, and just, we love wrestling, and Impact doesn't try to hold us back from that. They allow us to go and to love wrestling and to do wrestling, and that's something that's invaluable to each and every one of us.
Awesome. And I got one other question for you. What do you think personally it will take, be it creatively or just maybe outside of the box, to have intergender wrestling be taken seriously? Because I know that's really been having a lot of wrestling fans talking up a storm within at least the last 3 years.
Like I said, I love intergender wrestling because I think that there is a way to do it. I think that there's a way to tell that story, and I think that a lot of the times it's not done correctly. Just like there's different types of wrestling that are done incorrectly. Maybe you like it and maybe you don't like it. Maybe you like a certain style, maybe you don't. It's all up to preference. Like I said, with intergender wrestling, I think that there's a way to do it, which is why I enjoy it. I remember my match with Joey Ryan at United We Stand, and afterwards, Santino came up to us and he said, look, I don't really care for intergender wrestling, but now I get it. He said that changed my opinion of it. And that was something really cool to me, because every time that we go in that ring, that's something that Joey and Candice were trying to do, is change people's opinion, because they knew how to do it and to tell that story. And now that Candice isn't free to go and have those matches all over right now, and she's still killing it, but I kind of feel like I've been able to step up and have that spot with intergender wrestling all over, and I've been able to have those matches. So if we were able to have that on a bigger platform, hell, I would love it.
Awesome. Well, here's to the future for that. Thanks for your time, Tessa. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tessa Blanchard, ladies and gentlemen, awesome. I really, truly, I love her. She is just awesome, and you gotta forgive me because, I'm kind of like an old head now, I'm still a young man, I'm 39, I'm going to be 40 in a couple of months, and I'm just taken back a bit because very rare have I come across somebody young as Tessa that is so years ahead of her time mentally, very mature is basically where I'm getting at. And, other than myself, maybe a couple other people, very rare. I remember growing up, there wasn't really that many people I was able to come across that was light years ahead of their time mentally. So for me to be where I am now at this stage in my life, and just given everything that's going on with today's society, the pop culture, and, everybody's in this whole self-entitlement, and, well, your opinion doesn't mean anything because I'm right, you're wrong, and even when you get, well, no, here's why you're wrong, respectfully, it's block, block, no, fuck you, block, nope, not hearing it, block, dodging of the whole self-accountability, all that shit. Sometimes I'm just kind of taking a step back here. I'm just kind of taken back at, wow, there are some really cool young ass people out there that have their fucking head screwed on straight, and Tessa Blanchard is one of those people, and that's why I've been hyping her up for so long. I mean, sometimes it's just amazing to think that with regards to her run in the WWE, that it didn't come to be. It didn't materialize. You thought for sure with the whole tryout and everything that, okay, yeah, it's gonna happen. And for whatever respected reason, it did not happen. And I think, honestly, when you get right down to the heart of the matter, 9 times out of 10, fueled her up, put a serious chip on her shoulder, made her even more determined. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, right? Even if it's not from a wrestling standpoint, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate from, I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them that they were wrong doing me how they did me. I'm going to show them that what they just did was a mistake that they're going to come to regret. I'm going to prove them all wrong. Naysayers and all. And you look at what she's been able to do, and it's just been amazing to continue to be one of the hottest free agents that's out there, tearing it up. I'm telling you, man, Impact Wrestling, they really got themselves a true diamond in the rough. They really do. And while we're talking about Impact Wrestling, I do have a little bit more Impact Wrestling news I can share with you all. As once again, that was awesome, the press conference, and hopefully this gets back to Impact Wrestling. Thank you for the opportunity. Mish, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Mish, first of all. And Impact, thank you for providing that opportunity to be able to speak with Tessa. Anytime, hit me up. Don't mind covering you guys. True story, I actually was supposed to last week, and this is Impact Wrestling related, I was supposed to co-stream last week's Impact Wrestling episode, and I found out at the last minute there was an NBA game on, and I felt so bad because I had filled out my name, my information, and I had said, yeah, I'll co-stream, no problem. And sadly, I found out at the last minute a basketball game was on, and it was, and I love my basketball, so it was, I gotta watch the basketball. And to hear the unfortunate news of Impact Wrestling, what was it? They went black basically the last 25 minutes of the show. What? How is that even possible? How is that even possible? So, to set this up for those of you that don't know, so Impact Wrestling had their main event match, and it was, all right, blah, 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 all right, coming up next. So they take a commercial break. They never come back. So all you get is these ridiculous commercials over and over and over again. For a lot of people that were complaining, it was like the same freaking commercials that were in rotation, right? But they never came back. And a lot of people that had access to the Pursuit channel were going, what the fuck? What's going on? And it was so bad that Impact Wrestling, they had put out on social media that they were going to make the episode available immediately to US users via their Impact Plus app. So you're going, okay, well, I guess that's kind of cool. But, when you see and you hear stuff like that, it's, what the hell? How was this even made possible? How do you have a TV show in which the last 25 minutes, you don't get the finale, and you just keep getting the same looped commercials? How's that possible? And let me tell you something. I remember when I had first began working, one of the first places I worked as a kid was at BET. I did security at BET. And I worked a graveyard shift. I'm bringing this up. It ties in. Stay with me. I worked at BET out here in DC, and I worked a graveyard shift, and I had the easiest shift. Basically, all I had to do was once every other hour. All I had to do was just walk the grounds, make sure everything was on point. And one of the areas that I had checked out was pretty much the production station. And so there were many times where I would come through and there wasn't anybody in there. Like whoever, from what I understood, the last person basically left at maybe 9, 10, or 11 o'clock at night. And basically they had already put together what all was going to be in rotation until whoever was supposed to come in at, say, maybe 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, right? So everything was already pre-programmed, all that, just ready to go, and it just kept continuing to play, right? So I say that, and I go, well, what the fuck? In essence, you're technically kind of just putting in a VHS tape in the recorder. If you're getting ready to do CCTV, for example, right? You're getting ready to record something, right? Or maybe you're just getting ready to record a show for X amount of hours. You guys remember back in the day you had LP, SLP, and whatever other shit was for your VHS tapes, right? One would give you 2 hours, another would give you 4, one would give you 6. I think there was even an 8-hour VHS tape. Don't quote me on that though. But you just pop it in and then you go about your business, come on back. All right, switch out. That's it. That's basically it. So you hear what happened with last week's Impact Wrestling. How's that humanly possible, right? That's not good. That's not good. I did not like hearing that. I felt really bad. I felt really bad. I felt more so bad for the viewers. I really did. And it just really reaffirms in my mind what I had said weeks back when it was first announced that Impact Wrestling was going to be going to the Pursuit channel. Remember? And it was, well, how the hell are people supposed to access? It's really not accessible in that many households. What the hell? Okay, well, they got to counter this. You got to go to Twitch, YouTube, you got to use these avenues. All right, so they're going to Twitch. And you know what? I actually like the Twitch streams. I like when they take the commercial breaks and we get Josh, we get Don Callis, or we get, oh my God, who's the girl from Lucha Underground? Man, she's pretty. Brian Cage's girl. She's awesome. She's awesome. I almost want to say Melissa Santos. I don't know why, but that's the first name that's clicking in my head right now. But you usually get some really cool people, and then once Impact goes off the air, a special guest will drop on by. Maybe you'll get a Brian Cage. Maybe you'll get Rosemary. Maybe you'll get Sue Young. Or maybe you'll get Sami Callihan. I like how they give it such a unique experience for you on Impact Twitch, as opposed to what you're checking out on the Pursuit. But I gotta look at what AEW, NWA have been able to do with their respective miniseries, Chasing the Gold and Being the Elite and all that on YouTube, and it's, man, okay. And then I look at MLW, and then I look at what WWE is putting up on their YouTube channel. Impact, come on now. You already got this relationship going on with Anthem Entertainment. Make that transition already. Go on ahead and maximize, capitalize on YouTube. YouTube is something that everybody has. Why just have it designated to Twitch? And that's kind of like one of the main things that a lot of people keep saying, which is, man, it's so hard for me Friday nights to try to watch Impact Wrestling live in real time. I'm so used to watching it on the DVR, on demand, and I don't have access to the Pursuit channel. Some people don't want to be in real time on a Friday night. That's some serious competition. And you know what? The real estate is going to get even more heavier on Friday nights once WWE makes the move with SmackDown, and once WoW comes back, and then you're going to have new episodes of New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's going to be a lot of real estate going on Friday nights this fall. Man, who is going to ultimately win your attention? Or is it going to be a case where you're going to be multi-recording like a mother, right? So I thought that was kind of interesting what was going on, though, with last week's episode. And also, Jordynne Grace. There was a report out there that Jordynne Grace was not signed to a Impact Wrestling contract, that she had never been signed, and that Impact Wrestling was furiously trying to scrounge around and do everything they could to sign her ASAP. And I remember when I saw this report out on social media, one of the first things that I had said, I actually tagged Jordynne Grace because I actually interact with her from time to time. I love interacting on her posts and stuff, and I love checking in on her because she's usually doing some really cool shit, and she posts this funny shit too. So that's the other thing that I love. If you can make me laugh, I'm definitely checking your shit out. So she's pretty awesome. And I remember when I saw this report, I think it was Fightful. So shout out to Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful. I at him and I at Jordynne Grace. I said, this cannot be accurate. Get Jordynne Grace to go on record about this. Please let her speak the gospel, because if Impact Wrestling did mess this up, and all I posted was a gif of just a hearty chuckle, basically. And shortly after that, Jordynne Grace would put out a statement on social media basically saying pretty much everything that's gotten her to the point where she is right now in her career. You know, she pretty much owes it to Impact Wrestling, and basically she's happy to call Impact Wrestling home for the foreseeable future for many years to come. So, okay, so she's signed with Impact. Okay, great. So, cool. You know, the reports that's out there about Scarlett Bordeaux, Killer Cross, you know, supposedly they want better contract deals than what was given to them initially. You know, I would really need to first off hear from them directly, right? I always try to tell you guys, take it with a grain of salt, right? But let's just say it's true that they are a little bit, we kind of want better structured contracts. Man, that's a tough one. That's a very delicate situation, because look, I ain't no Perry Mason lawyer, right? But I would like to believe that when it comes to the language of the contract and all that, unless there's some loopholes in there, that contract could be binding and you got to honor it, right? So that could be a very delicate and sticky situation. So if it's true, I sincerely hope that everything gets worked out, right? But yeah, that, you know, more on that as it happens. But I would just say, just kind of put that in the back of your mind and don't really pay too much attention to it until you really see both of these guys speak openly and candidly about it, is how I would say you all should just go about this. So, you know, look, Ashley Massaro passing away. I've been trying to hold this off for as long as humanly possible, but Ashley Massaro tragically passed away last week. And that was quite, I gotta admit, I was kind of speechless when I had heard that report. I really, really was. I couldn't believe what I was reading. And it was fresh off of the Ric Flair news. You know, Ric Flair fighting for his life. You know, you got TMZ putting the report that they're putting out there, and I'm not really sure who to believe, man. I'm really, really not, because you got TMZ saying, and TMZ caught a lot of fucking shit. They caught a lot of fucking heat for what they put out there, because then you got son-in-law Ric Flair, Conrad Thompson, saying, no, standard procedure, blah, 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 blah. But then, you know, the question that really should have been asked was, okay, well, we understand that this is routine procedure, but what type of a procedure was it? What does it entail? Is there usually complications? Blah, 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 blah. You know, I just got so lost in the moment of, oh my God, Ric Flair. And I didn't really take a step back, and it was kind of one of those gotcha moments, right? Very rare happens to me, but it had a gotcha moment there. So, you hear what Conrad is saying, and then you got Ric Flair's wife coming out there, and a lot of the information isn't quite matching up, so you're kind of like, I'm a little bit confused. But TMZ was catching a lot of heat. Next thing you know, same breath, basically, the news about Ashley Massaro, TMZ being one of the first to report it. Well, wait a minute. But then to see other media outlets report the same thing, and then it just started to become what was shock was soon replaced by great sadness. 39 years of age, way too soon. Way too soon. And I know we got these reports out there now where, oh, well, it looks like she died, suicide, looks like she did this to herself. I don't care. And I don't say that in a mean-spirited way. I say that from the standpoint of I don't care about the logistics and how she sadly passed away. What I want to deal with is the fact that she is not here in the present. She is not alive. She is no longer with us. Let's just home in on that. And, you know, I had some fond memories of her. I really did. You know, it was nice hearing some of my fellow colleagues briefly talk about her and everything. But, you know, I didn't hear everybody share a moment as far as what was their favorite moment of Ashley Massaro. And that's no diss to my friends, my colleagues. That's no diss to them. But the people that I was listening to, just to, you know, get colorful insight, you know, I never heard anybody say, you know, what their favorite moment was with regards to Ashley Massaro's short wrestling career, right? So I kind of want to approach this differently, and I want to approach it from this standpoint. I remember vividly, and rest her soul, my late ex-wife, Jess. I remember one of the ways that we got even closer together was because of my love for the WWE. And me and her had got together, I would say, me and her got together, I think it was 2004, like late 2004 going into 2005 is when me and her had got together. And at first she was not a pro wrestling fan. She was not. She would not watch it. She didn't care for it. But then one day, and you know how it is, ladies, us guys, come on, hun, watch this with me. No, God, come on. And so she slowly started coming around, and then she sees these wonderful, colorful characters, and oh, he's cool, and oh, she's cool, and all this. And I remember when the Diva Search contest had came around, she was big into the reality shows. Even way back then, she was trying to get me. I didn't particularly care for American Idol and all that, but I would tolerate it for her and everything. And it was, okay. And then when we heard that they were doing the Diva Search contest series, we were like, oh, okay, well, this is interesting. This is something that, oh, all right, we get what we want, right? I get hot looking babes, and you know, well, you like girls too, so okay, you know, so she was bi. And I remember how excited we were for this Diva Search contest. I remember that. And I remember that first season, all the girls that we were looking at, and we said, oh, Ashley, hands down Ashley. We looked at all of them, we were like, Ashley. Ashley just had this tomboyish punk rock. Definitely, if you were at a party, you know, it's not about getting the digits. You could just get loose, have some nice, fun conversation. She seemed like a playful type of individual. She seemed sincere. There was a honest approach to her. There was something that was not fake about her, personality wise and all that. It was almost kind of like what you see is what you get. If you're able to interact with her, right? It kind of seemed like that. So we gravitated towards her very quickly. And I remember every single week when, we had the opportunity to cast votes and everything, we would do our very best. Ashley. And when she won, we were very, very excited. Those first couple of seasons of the Diva Search contest, we were there. And the people that we had saw, and we were like, we called it. The first 3 years, just when we looked at everybody, the first 3 years, we called the winners. But that's the one. And we called it. We stayed with them all the way, and that was the one that had won it. And with that first season, we looked at Ashley Massaro, and we were like, she's going to get it. Yeah, and I find myself here today as I'm recording this show a little bit melancholy at the same time, because my late ex-wife, Jess, she also had dealt with depression. She was suicidal. I stay clear these days of usually talking about stuff from my personal life, unless needed occasion for clarity. And Jess was a very beautiful woman. I wish you guys could have seen her. I remember there was a picture I had shared. We did a tribute episode when I had found out sadly of her passing. I remember we did a tribute episode, and you could actually go back and you can see the thumbnail artwork. You can see the picture of her. She was a beautiful woman, a very beautiful woman. Confined to a wheelchair. She had spinal bifida. The spinal bifida, it really compacted her big time. Compacted her spine, her size, her height, all that big time. And before I came along, there was so much mental damage that was done to her. It wasn't even funny. You have people that would just use and abuse her mentally, getting whatever money they could out of her, just using her up, and that was it. They were cheating on her with other men, all kinds of shit. So, before I come along, she's getting damaged emotionally, spiritually. And then by the time I come along, she recognizes the good, but she's been so used to the bad. I remember there were a lot of dark periods where a lot of times right in front of me, we'd get into an argument or whatever, and she would get so fucking emotional. She would go into this dark place where she would be ready. It was so bad. I remember there was a couple of different medications that she would take. But there was one Xanax that she had took many, many times. I can remember verbally getting into it with her. And she said, I'm going to kill myself. And I remember one time, she actually had swallowed about 5 Xanaxes, and I was on top of her like a motherfucker, just trying to do everything I could to, it was like that. I bring that up because what you think you see with a pretty smile, what you think you see with a persona that's out there, what you think you see with somebody that is, they seem very approachable, they seem very likable, they seem like somebody that, it's always the ones that you least expect. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point that I'm bringing up. It's always the ones that you least expect. And so to hear about the passing of Ashley Massaro, one of the first things I said to myself quietly was, this has to be somebody that seriously was dealing with some type of depression that may have been suicidal. Because no, why would you take your own life? There's so much beauty in this world. You got to have one conflicted heart mentally. You just got to be right. And all the good things that was said about Ashley, so many people, even the fans, we're approachable, very likable. The wrestlers themselves, I know CM Punk, Melina. There's a lot of people that were, Mick Foley, so many people were saying, oh man, she's, blah, 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 a lot of good things. And you know what? It was really nice hearing so many people say so many uplifting, kind, and without a doubt, true things about Ashley. It really, really was, because I think it's all about how she lived her life, the lives that she had touched, that we all should be focusing on, and not the tabloid shit. It pisses me off to see people that are writing these articles about, oh, well, she went to this tribute of the troops thing, and she was sexually assaulted, and WWE did nothing, and then this had happened, and this had happened, and it's like, no, you sick motherfuckers. This is not the time to be doing an editorial piece about that type of bullshit. The body has not even gone into the ground yet, and you're writing this shit? If you want to write something, why don't you write about how she came to be in the pro wrestling world, rather than the same copy-paste bullshit about 2005 Divas Search winner? What I gave you was heavy, but it was light at the same time. There's a little bit of happiness in there, right? And Philip, I appreciate the kind words, man. Thank you. It's taken me quite a while because we were working, me and Jess, we were working on, being friends. We had a little bit of a fallout, and I thought for sure we'd cool off. I thought for sure that, a couple of months, whatever. And then 3 turned into 6 months, and then a year, and then one day I just find out, of all people, Tammy told me, because she was curious what was going on with Jess. She's like, I got bad news for you. I'm like, what are you talking about? And that's pretty much how I found out. I found out through her. I couldn't believe it. Went on the, she showed me the website for when the funeral was and everything. And it was, to say crush was an understatement, because it was wow. So last conversation, and I have to take that to my grave now for however long I live. The last conversation I had with her, we had a fallout, all because I had forgot her birthday. So yeah, it's the little things, man. But these websites, they pissed me off writing this stupid shit, and to the point WWE had to put a statement out and say, hey, look. And you know what? I have no problem with what WWE had said. Especially if it's a case where, hey, look, we got the proof. We've got the emails. You will see the time, the date, the stamp. You'll be able to track the IP address back to, its source of where this email in question was sent, all that. So I'm not doubting any of the shit that WWE had put out there, but they basically had countered right back and said, hey, with regards to that, Ashley Massaro actually had wrote to us last year in the email, or whatever it was, 2018 or 17, whatever. No, it was last year. It basically had said, hey, WWE, I'm so sorry that I had said what I had said about you guys. It was wrong. I've always considered you guys family. Honestly, I was lied to. I was misled by this lawyer, that fucking Kairos fucking lawyer, that Kairos dude. As long as I have been on the air doing this show, Kairos has been somebody I have brought up constantly. This guy is like a leecher all he knows is wrestlers. That's all he knows. Every single time something weird goes down with a wrestler, Kairos just, how I would describe Kairos, just to kind of liven up the mood a little bit, kind of get you guys a little bit peppy and happy and not feel all, You all know about Tim and Eric. Awesome show. Great job. If you know me, you've been listening long enough, you know how much I love that fucking series. Kairos, the lawyer, reminds me of fucking Spinguli Remember that character? When Tim and Eric Spinguli, he'd be hiding behind the fucking bushes, waiting for his moment to strike, and he would just, and people would see him the whole time. He'd be hiding and shit. Remember one episode he was hiding behind a fucking plant in a copy break room, and co-workers are looking at him like, what the fuck is this dude doing? And then he just jumps from behind a very weak plant, mind you. It barely had branches, it barely had leaves, and he just jumps out, Spinguli! And they're like, okay, Spinguli! Yeah, I come from behind tree. I surprise you, Spinguli! We saw you the whole time. Spinguli! So that is this Kairos lawyer in a nutshell. I'm just picturing him behind a fucking dumpster, or, you know, behind a truck, or behind a hooker giving a blowjob to a client, and he's getting a whiff that something weird is about to go down with a wrestler, and he just jumps out, hey, you need a wrestling lawyer. You know, I'm just picturing him like that. He's a weaselly little fuck. When it's all said and done, he's a weaselly little fuck. I can't stand the guy. I can't stand him. He has had a history of weaseling, manipulating his way into getting wrestlers to do what he wants them to do, because he's trying to get the big bucks. That's what it's all about. He's trying to get the big bucks. And WWE did not have to put that statement out there. They did not. But the fact that they went in and they doubled down, they didn't just put out a statement. And say what you will about WWE and you know, but you got to respect that. They didn't just put out a statement. They doubled down. The key words, we have an email from her from 2018. The date of it was, and it read in part. Now, anybody that has common fucking sense in the world would not read that part and go, lies. Fake news. Fake news, people. It's fake. It's fake. Don't believe it. It's fake. Believe me. Believe me. What you are hearing and reading, it is fake. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, fake news. But when you have somebody saying, no, we actually have email records from her in which she said, okay, well, if you have email records, then you can prove in court if we were to get an affidavit and everything would have to be reviewed. So then we can definitely see this said email in question. And don't think that because you delete your email history that it's not retrievable. So no one will see my dick pics. No, even though you deleted all your dick pics in your email folder there, it can still be retrieved. So sorry. So sorry. So sorry. Right? Think twice next time. You can easily go back and, okay, so we can see the said email exchange between these two parties. And then from there, you can go back, get the IP address, all that shit. WWE should not have had to. And that is what I really have found appalling of all, is just how a lot of these people wanted to go down, do fucking revisionist history. How about you fucking wrestling websites out there? How about you guys do some fucking good? How about you guys do some fucking good from the standpoint of, hey, I don't know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. How about you wrestling websites come together and not only shine the spotlight, the good of Ashley Mazzaro's career, but also say, hey, we want to take this time out and remind you guys that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And if you or someone you know is suffering from mental health awareness, you can get help. Here's a suicide prevention hotline at here's this, here's that. I've seen not one fucking wrestling website do that. All my years I've been doing this show, every single time somebody tragically passes away in which they take their own life, I never see anybody go in that direction. You know, probably the only time I saw websites, not even wrestling websites, just websites in general, come together and be like, suicide hotline, here's the number, 24/7, blah, 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 blah. was when Robin Williams died. But any other time something goes down with a wrestler, you want to talk about using the power of good. A lot of these guys, clickbaits. That's what the shit is all about. I'm not going in that direction. Fuck that. That whole Kairos bullshit, fuck that shit, right? I'm going to focus on the good. I'm going to focus on the lives that she touched, right? How about the daughter that sadly she leaves behind? That is now, my God, like 18 years old. How about that kid? Here, Ashley has this kid way young. This kid's now 18, got to go out there in the world and, wow, that's devastating. What the fuck? I don't even see fucking wrestling websites banding together. Hey, if you guys want to help, there's also a GoFundMe page for her daughter. You can go to GoFundMe. Don't do a weak ass, click this. Don't do that. I mean, come on. You guys that are interested, you want to help, and I always tell you guys, look, it ain't mandatory. You guys don't need to feel as though you have to dig in your pockets. If you're financially in a position, I'm like this. If at this point you're listening, and it's like, man, I only got $5 I could spare. I don't know if I should give it to Lee for Patreon or if I give it to this kid. Give it to this kid. You don't want to give me your money? That's fine. I'm down with that. You want to do something good? Always forward is what I say, especially when you want to be impactful in other people's lives. You want to have a positive impact, a positive influence, right? You want to do your part in the world. All right, here's how you can pay it forward, and always forward. Always go forward. Help out this kid. Help her out. GoFundMe.com/Ashley Mazzaro's daughter educational fund. Easy to remember. GoFundMe.com/Ashley Mazzaro's daughter educational fund. Easy. You ain't got no money? You can do the next best thing. Share it all throughout social media. That's it. That's all you got to do. You got Twitter. You got Facebook. If you could take time out to watch me, and you can take time out to read tweets and read Facebook posts and Instagram posts and all that shit, there's no excuse. You ain't got no money? Okay, fine. But you do all of those other things with the Facebook and the Twitters and reading and all that shit? No excuse. Share that. Fucking share that. That is going in the chat room right now. And I'm going to make that be available in the episode description for this week's episode. God bless Ashley Massaro. God bless her daughter, her family, friends, colleagues. I can only imagine. Just a fraction that I told you from my personal life. See, that makes me different from everybody else. So many other people that I can come at you guys with clarity. I can come at you guys with the experience, because I can relate to many of these situations. And if it's something that's not in my realm, I will always be the first to tell you that, right? But if I feel I can bring something to the table with it from personal experience, you know me, I will always give it to you with great clarity. Do what you can to spread the word about this. I'm sure the family would definitely appreciate it. And, I'm finding as I'm getting older, I've gotten so numb. I really have. There's Soundgarden news. I was going to go into it much later, but, I was just reminded over the weekend that it's now officially marked 2 years since the passing of Chris Cornell. One of the greatest singers, songwriters of our generation. He was like the John Denver of rock music, basically. I mean, everything this guy did was like almost fucking, it was money. It was like a fucking masterpiece. You can even now go back to that Scream album that he did with Timberland and go, this actually wasn't a bad album. It's actually one of my favorites. I gotta say, I actually loved the Scream album that he did. But yeah, I was reminded just over the weekend that, 2 years since his passing, and it was wow. And as always, his death hit me, other than Robin Williams, his death had hit me the hardest. I remember being in a quiet, depressing state. I didn't talk to friends. I didn't talk to family for like about 3 days when Robin Williams had passed, especially when I learned about how he died. That is what really got me, was how he died. I was in a depression, and I deal with depression myself from time to time. You know, we're talking about maybe in Mental Health Awareness Month. You know, once in a while, I will find myself going into a dark place, and, you know, sometimes it's a case where, you know, you just got to let me be. You got to let me figure it out. You got to let me get through it. Somehow I come out on top. But Robin's hit me real hard. But then the punch to the gut, the one that made me actually cry, was Chris Cornell. And yeah, I always say I'm reminded of when I finally got the opportunity to see the band at the Patriot Center down in Virginia. I don't know what they're calling it now. It's a new name that they're calling it now, but I remember it as the Patriot Center going back 2011. It was a great fucking night. Oh man, the band was in such great form. I believe there's photos on the Facebook page, on the show business page. You can actually check it out. I know it's under a Soundgarden album. It was a great fucking night. I had great fucking seats. I pretty much was in like the first 4 rows on the floor itself. And yeah, man, I'm just reminded of some of these celebrities that have passed away from the music world. And, you know, it's kind of like following up on a conversation I had with Damien from the Wrestlers series on Viceland, which is, and I definitely agree with him. You know, you see the deaths that are happening in the music business, it stings, but there's just something about in the wrestling business, there's just something about it that makes it sting even more so. I don't know what it is. I can't quite wrap my finger around it. Maybe somebody listening can enlighten, but I don't know what it is. But it seems like with the wrestling world, it's even more magnified than somebody non-wrestling but is a celebrity passes. Very, very, very weird. I guess while we're still kind of talking about Soundgarden, because I did want to talk about the Double or Nothing card. You Soundgarden fans, some very interesting news. This will probably put a smile on you all's faces. There is going to be a live from the Artist's Den album and DVD that's going to be coming out on Soundgarden. It is a taping from their 2013 King Animal final tour. They did it's awesome. It's awesome. There's going to be screening in New York, Los Angeles, and Seattle. So it is a 2.5 hour set that they did. And you're talking about a total of 29 songs. If you don't want to know what the playlist is, you just want to be surprised, go for it, right? Nothing wrong with that. But there's going to be a LP available in several formats. There's going to be a limited edition super deluxe box house set of 4 LPs, 2 CDs, a photo book, and the concert film on Blu-ray, which also features bonus band interviews alongside other memorabilia. There's also going to be available a 4 LP colored vinyl limited edition, a 4 LP black vinyl, as well as on Blu-ray, and a 2 CD set. And right now, there are some stuff that is available for pre-order, while the digital live album and the digital live versions will be available for pre-order on May the 31st. So I'm actually, you don't even need to ask, but if you're gonna ask, yeah, I will be checking that out. And most likely I will be doing my thing. I don't know, I'm probably gonna be doing my thing with Amazon, especially since I can pre-order and all that good stuff. I'm probably gonna go on ahead and do it that way. I'm eyeballing the hell out of the vinyl set, the one that's $162. I'm just looking at what all you get, and yeah, I'm probably gonna go in that direction. Let me look here. Hey, I'm looking at the vinyl collection right now. See, now I'm on the fence. I don't know if I want to get the vinyl set. I don't know. I got to look at all of them and figure it out, but I do want to get like the best bang for my buck. If you ask me what I would really like, give me the vinyl, give me the CD, give me the DVD. I'm good to go. So whoever has that, that's what I want. For those of you that may be curious when exactly it all is supposed to be coming out, I'm looking at a release date of July 26th. So you might want to look into that. All right, let's get into some Double or Nothing. All right, so we got this card that's going to be coming up this weekend. Very excited about this card. Gotta tell you, very, very excited about this card. And right now, it doesn't appear as though that there is shock and awe, but you know what? I would like to believe that there is definitely going to be some surprises in store. What they could be, who knows? But looking at the card, and remember, folks, it's happening Saturday, May the 25th. It's going to be at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Right now, we got about 9 matches. One of them is a pre-show match. The pre-show match, we got Kip Sabian taking on Sammy Guevara. It's going to be a regular singles match. You know, just a little bit that I've seen of Sammy. You know, I kind of got to go with Sammy. It's a pre-show matchup. I kind of got to go with Sammy. I'm just thinking about it a second time. Yeah. I got to go with Sammy Guevara on that one. Aja Kong taking on Yuka. How the hell do you pronounce that name? I really got to brush up on my Japanese. Yuka Sakazaki and Ima Sakura versus Haruku Shida EOA. God, I can't pronounce any of these names. God, last thing I'm going to do is be a laughing stock. All right. We got a 6-woman tag team matchup. I do recognize Aja Kong. I do recognize her. Some of these girls I've actually seen. Some of their work I've actually seen. Damn, this is a tough one. Rio Mizunori is in there. God, I gotta go with the team of Rio, Emi, and Shida. That's the team I'm gonna go with. Best friends, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta take on Angelico and Jack Evans. Could kind of go either way with this one. This could kind of go either way. I'm gonna go with the best friends. I think they could really use a little bit of momentum on their side. And I'm only saying that because I remember how they recently had wrapped things up with New Japan Pro Wrestling and everything, you know, to basically come on board with AEW and everything. Meanwhile, I'm looking at Angelico, Jack Evans. Angelico. Yeah, I'm going with best friends. I'm gonna stick with best friends. It just kind of feels like the more cachet is gonna be with the best friends. I love Jack Evans. Man, it's kind of like, what kind of sandwich do you want almost? But no, I'm gonna go with the best friends on that one. I'm sticking to that. See, who else? Young Bucks taking on the Lucha Brothers. Tag team match for the AAA World Tag Team titles. Okay, so my first question, are the Lucha Brothers done with Impact Wrestling? Because if the Lucha Brothers are done with Impact Wrestling, then That's an interesting one. Who's the current Impact Wrestling Tag Champions? Does anybody know? If anybody knows off chance, let me know. Because if it's not the Lucha Brothers, because the last thing I remember of the Lucha Brothers, they were in a feud where they defeated the Latin American Exchange. That was during a TV taping to win the Impact World Tag Titles. That's kind of like the last thing I remember. So I don't know if they're holding on to the tag titles right now or if it's somebody else. If it's somebody else, one of the questions I want to know is what exactly is going on with their Impact Wrestling status. Because if they don't have contracts with those guys and they are AEW, the smart move would be to put the titles on the Lucha Brothers. Those guys are white fucking hot right now. They are white hot, and you just got to go with that. I remember me and Damien were talking about the wrestlers and everything. He was bringing those guys up a lot, and check that out, by the way. It was a really good interview. It's actually available on the YouTube channel when you guys get a chance. Yeah, I kind of got to go with the Lucha Brothers. Everybody's really in a buzz over those guys right now. I mean, no shade to the Young Bucks whatsoever, but yeah, man, Lucha Brothers. I got to go with the Lucha Brothers. How can you bet against the Lucha Brothers? Seriously. If this was a card where pretty much all of the founders are putting themselves over, that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. A lot of people are going to kind of shit on that. I can tell you that right now. So I would like to believe that the Lucha Brothers are going to go over on that one. All right, let's go with the next matchup. Oh yeah, we got that 21-man casino battle royale. Winner receives a future AEW World Championship match against the winner of the match against Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. Okay, so right now, the way it's looking, you got 4 slots that we don't know who the participants are. So it could easily be a case where, and I think it's a no-brainer, one of those 4. I think it's going to be one of those 4 that's definitely going to be winning that. But here's your participants. Sonny Kiss. I actually like Sonny Kiss too. I gotta say, Sonny Kiss is pretty unorthodox. Really. I know some people were like, oh, it's one of those fake me outs, Orlando Jordan. No. What Sonny Kiss is able to do personality wise and in the ring, Orlando Jordan would wish he had a fraction of it. He would wish he had a fraction of it. I don't want you guys to be that simple-minded with it, because with Orlando Jordan is a little bit more of a masculine type of, he's more masculine. Sonny Kiss is just, you just gotta watch a Sonny Kiss match to really, I can't really describe it. All right, I can't really describe it, but I'm actually a fan of Sonny Kiss. I remember when they first made the announcement Sonny Kiss was joining AEW. I said, "Oh shit, that's cool. All right, awesome." Because I actually saw a bit of his work before. I saw a little bit of it in Lucha Underground actually, and some stuff online. Brandon Coulter, Ace Romero, Glacier. As soon as I said Glacier, I'm just reminded of the WCW Monday Night Nitro vignettes, and you see the shit with fucking Glacier, he's coming and everything. Oh god, fake ass, broke ass, wannabe Mortal Kombat vignettes is what I remember, because that was what was the shit back then. And back then you couldn't help but look at it and go, oh man, that is so cool. Oh yeah. But then when you kind of go back and you look at it 10, 15, 20 something years later, you go, man, that shit was hokey dokey. What the hell? Brian Pillman Jr., Sunny Days, MJF, Joey Janela, Dustin Thomas, Billy Gunn, Badass Billy Gunn. Shout out to Sergio, by the way. He said that the Lucha Brothers are officially part of the AEW roster. Yeah, if that's the case, Sergio, then I'm going to go with Lucha Brothers. I'm still sticking with Lucha Brothers, but since you said what you said, I'm doubling down. So who has the Impact titles now? That's my question to you guys. If y'all could tell me that, I'd appreciate that, because I'm very curious, and I'm sure listeners that haven't been checking out Impact Wrestling in a while, they probably want to know too, who's the current Impact Tag Champions. Let's see, what's going on with the rest of this 21-man casino? Who we got? All right, we mentioned Joey Janela, Dustin Thomas, Badass Billy Gunn, Jimmy Havoc, Jungle Boy, that is the son of, oh my God, I'm drawing a fucking blank right here. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. Dylan, Beverly Hills 902, Jason Perry. Yeah, Jason Perry. Son of Jason Perry. Looks just like him too. The resemblance is so fucking uncanny. I mean, he might be a little clean shaven in some areas, and no, not Jason Perry. Luke Perry. I can't believe I fucked that name up big time. Shows what's on my mind, I'm telling you. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry, guys. Don't beat me up. Anyway, Jungle Boy's in there. All right, who else we got in there? Michael Nakazawa, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Luchasaurus, Sean Spears. You know, and I was bringing this up the other night too, when I was in the chat room for Wrestling Soup. I was saying, you know, well, since it's going to be in Vegas, why not a Killer Cross, right? I mean, you want to talk about going a little bit outside of the box, doing something that's kind of unpredictable. Like, so far, when you look at this card, you don't really see somewhat of cross branding, like with the US, basically. Where I'm getting at is, you don't see Impact kind of like they have with WoW, right? And it's kind of they're sharing talents, right? You don't see anything like that going on. And I can't help but go, well, damn, a guy like Killer Cross, he actually lives out there. That would be pretty badass. Ryback is another one, because he's around that area as well, right? So those two names, that would be pretty fucking cool. What about Dean Ambrose? You gotta throw Dean Ambrose in there. You really want to talk about shock and awe. Dean Ambrose is one you definitely, and if you're gonna put him right there, that kind of seems to be the way you should possibly go, yeah? As far as one of those mysterious four. I just gave you a couple of names as far as who I think it could be. You know, another name, he is out there this weekend, David Arquette. You guys are savvy as fuck, because I was looking at this card earlier in the week, just kind of wondering. And a couple of forums I was checking out, a couple of chat rooms I was checking out, people were like, well, what about David Arquette? Like, that makes all the sense in the world. I'll give you guys another name. I'll gladly throw another name out there, and I hope we get to see him. A name that we haven't heard of in a good minute since he did his last match. What about the Green Arrow dude? Now, the Green Arrow dude said, hey, look, as far as wrestling another match, I don't think something like that is ever going to happen again. And I'm going, I don't know about that, especially now that Green Arrow is pretty much wrapping up and everything. I think we're probably going to be seeing a little bit more of you in the wrestling ring. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of, Stephen Amell, he was who I'm talking about, the Green Arrow dude from CW. I kind of get the impression that maybe he would do something along that nature of an appearance. I could definitely see him doing something like that. Now, he could still be living true to what he had put out there initially, which is, yeah, you know, as far as another singles match goes, yeah, he's not doing that anymore. But doing something like a 21-man casino battle royal, yeah, I could definitely see him making an appearance in there. And then, of course, I hate to throw his name in there, but you got to be prepared, right? And he could be showing up with his Dick Druids, Joey Ryan. Joey Ryan is one that could be in there. Just saying, folks, just saying. Also, who else? Who else could possibly be in there? Famous B could possibly be in there. He's from Lucha Underground. He talked about how he, matter of fact, I think it was on, yeah, it was on the 600th episode of Solo Monster. I believe he said he was talking about getting his release from his Lucha Underground contract, that negotiations had seemed to have been going very, very well. And so, you know, that's another one I kind of got to put out there. Austin Aries is another one as well, with the type of schedule that he has. That's another one. What about Hangman Adam Page? You know, if the reports are true that there was some type of creative differences, and I don't really want to feed too much into that because, you know, I'm not really sure if it's, you would like to believe that if it was a story, right, if it was fake, why would you create something like that, right? This late in the game nonetheless. So I'm not really buying that it's a fake story, but I kind of feel as though, yeah, let's wait and see what happens with this pay-per-view, right? Let the pay-per-view be in the books, then maybe we can kind of speculate a little bit as far as how come that match didn't come to be. But you would like to believe that just by using common sense, if this match is not going to be happening between Hangman Page and Pac, that maybe both men or one of these guys, preferably Hangman Page, is going to take up one of those slots as well, right? Or maybe Pac will do a little something. You can't help but kind of mention those names as well. Cody Rhodes takes on Dustin. Cody Rhodes, the late Dusty Rhodes. Cody Rhodes taking on Dustin Rhodes. This is basically supposed to be the WrestleMania match that they always wanted to have, but WWE basically said, yeah, no, it ain't happening. All right. I like the idea of Cody. And I was asking you guys online, well, what happened at the last event? What happened at All In? Did Cody win his match? And you guys were like, yeah, Cody had won his match. So I'm just kind of putting a couple of things into rotation for myself. I kind of feel as though Dustin is going to pick up the win. That's legitimately the vibe that I'm getting. And you know what? I got to give Cody a lot of props. Cody has been in go mode for several months now, doing his part, getting everything together and everything. He hasn't really had an opportunity to really kick back. I'm just saying from a bird's eye view perspective. I could be totally wrong. Wouldn't be the first, wouldn't be the last. But there's just a couple of things that's just kind of adding up in my head and everything. And I'm reminded about the surgery that he had held off, talking about that. Remember, to begin earlier in the year, he was dealing with a nagging injury, and he said, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get it right after I get done doing this over here. And then that's it. I'm going to be done for a couple of months, but then I'll come on back and we'll start doing this thing to really help heavily promote Double or Nothing. So yeah, there's been a little bit of quality time with the friends, with the family and everything, but it's pretty much been rehabbing AEW, dealing with the behind the scenes stuff, getting the show together, all of this stuff, right? And then the ultimate, okay, well, you do this pay-per-view event the day after building from there. Because you still have to bridge the gap to that weekly TV show and everything, right? So there's just a lot of elements that I'm kind of looking at that's kind of making me going, you know what, if Cody really does mean well, and he's learned what a guy like Jeff Jarrett and a few others can do when, okay, it's my company, and I legitimately get the vibe that Cody is going to do the honors for his brother. I legitimately am getting that vibe. I would be quite surprised if Cody goes over in this matchup. I really, really would. So, and for all the contributions that Dustin has made to the business and everything, you know, just a nice, cool, good feel moment. I like how they've been putting those video packages together too, being the elite and all that, and seeing what Dustin had did with the mask and putting it in a little treasure chest and all that. That all was just fucking badass. It was almost kind of like they borrowed a page from New Japan almost. I was eating all that shit up. Of all the matches, this is actually one just on paper. Everything that's been going into it, you know, is very simplistic, easy to get behind and everything. A lot of history right there between those guys. I'm totally into that. Totally into that. Yeah, apparently Cody had talked about it on the YouTube channel. I gotta check that out when I get a chance. Thanks for that, Sergio. Gotta check that out. But yeah, I kind of gotta go with Dustin on that one. SoCal Uncensored, that consists of Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. They're going to be taking on the Strong Hearts, Sema, T-Hawk, and Il Lindaman. There we go. Il Lindaman. Interesting. Very interesting. It's a match that I kind of don't care about. If I gotta be honest with you, kind of don't care about. SoCal. I'll go with SoCal. I'm just gonna pick one. Go with SoCal. So that's the card for the Double or Nothing event. So I mean, just based off of this card so far, you could definitely go, yeah, the pay-per-view's a little meh for $49 or however much they're going to be charging. By the way, I thought it was kind of hilarious. Yesterday, I went on Fight TV, their website, and I was trying to order just for shits and giggles. I wasn't going to actually order it, but I was just trying to see if I could order the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. And it said it was not available in my respected territory. And I'm going, yeah, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense. What, you guys think I live in Somalia or something? What the fuck is this shit, right? And while I'm live on the air right now, I can tell you guys in real time, when I look up Double or Nothing, all I get is the press conference and weigh in, and that is it. That is it. That's all I get. And I remember when I had took a direct URL link that would have me land on the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. No. Message I got, not available in your territory. So this is a case where you're going to have to go in, if you're a tech guru, and you're going to have to do some stuff with your IP address / VPN and adjust it that way. And then you'll be able to get the price for the pay-per-view. You'll be able to order it through Fight TV. But what was really fucking cool is the fact that if you play around with it, now, I'm not telling you, I'm just saying, there's a workaround where you can order this on Fight TV and you only have to pay $10. That's all I'm saying. So for you tech internet gurus out there, you're welcome. Before anybody asks, of course I'm going to be checking out Double or Nothing. I'm actually going to be ordering the pay-per-view. So, because I don't want to deal with illegal streaming. I was telling a buddy earlier today. I said, look, when it comes to these damn shows, it's bullshit, because when you're checking out these streams, they say, oh, it's flawless, it's this, it's that, and it turns out it's not. It's a bunch of bullshit. You get a lot of buffering, a lot of delay, quality fucking sucks, right? Even when you pay the $5-10 to get a perfect stream, you're not getting a perfect stream, right? So for me, I don't want to dodge all of that. I would rather just go on ahead and check out the actual pay-per-view itself, privacy of my own home, through my respected cable satellite provider. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Long-time listeners, if you all are going to be around Saturday for Double or Nothing, maybe if you're not going to be watching the pay-per-view, I actually will be streaming it via our private Discord chat. So alert, make sure you guys get at me. And if you've been a long time listener, and I know who's long time listeners, I know the names of the people that usually pop up in the chat and everything, so I'm able to determine who's been a long time listener. If you haven't gotten the hookup for Discord, but you got Twitter or Facebook, drop me a message on those respective platforms so I can hit you up privately with the Discord, because a lot of times we do end up doing some exclusive audio stuff and all that in Discord, on top of what we're doing for our Patreon members as well. And let me just check on how long we've been on the air so far here. Okay, so we've been on for a little bit now, so I want to go ahead, I want to get ready and wrap it up. Let me just see if there's a couple more topics I want to get into before we get ready to wrap it up for today. Let me look here. I don't really see anything else that's going on. It's pretty much all about AEW weekend so far. Let me just hang on real quick, guys. Just checking my show notes here, making sure we're all caught up here. Yeah, I mean, unless there's something I'm missing, guys, unless there's something, other than Owen Hart. I was reminded yesterday, and I had shared it on our Facebook page, this week had marked the 20th anniversary since the tragic passing of Owen Hart. Wow, how time flies. I'm just amazed. I can remember, I didn't watch the pay-per-view that night. I did not watch the pay-per-view that night. My friends did not watch the pay-per-view that night. But I do remember being on the phone with my friends the next day, going to school and all that, hearing about the untimely passing of Owen Hart, trying to figure out what the hell had happened. Remember watching afterwards the Monday night episode of Raw, the Owen Hart tribute show, and I remember being in an emotional wreck. I remember I was actually watching that Monday Night Raw with my mom, because my mom, way back in the day, was a huge wrestling fan. And I think she stopped watching wrestling right about the time, I want to say she stopped right about after Stone Cold had retired. That's when she just kind of, because she loved all things Stone Cold Steve Austin. She did. And after he was done, Rock was done, it was just kind of like, whatever. She didn't care for John Cena. She thought Kurt Angle was okay. She thought Kurt Angle was okay. Speaking of Kurt Angle, that's a very interesting article. There's an article that is out right now where Kurt Angle had talked about how when he first came to the WWE, he was under the impression that off the break he was going to be utilized in the wrestling ring. And that by the time Vince McMahon did come to him for the wrestling, it was too late. Father Time had really caught up to him, and he could not do anything like what he had did fresh off of TNA and everything. And he was beating himself up on it. And when he was seeing what all he was able to do physically, he realized that he had so much borrowed time that it made all the sense in the world to get him out of the ring as fast as humanly possible. And so originally Kurt Angle had in his mind he'd come back as a wrestler, have a championship run, then have a retirement match, go into the WWE Hall of Fame, maybe come back in some type of a backstage capacity or as an on-air character. But the way WWE operated, it was definitely out of place. I think you all would be in agreement. It was totally whacked. It was way out of place how they had operated with him. So it was a really fun and insightful interview that he had provided. And that was actually courtesy of my good friends over at the Wrestling.Inc. website. So check them out when you get a chance. They haven't posted the whole interview yet. They basically just posted little excerpts here and there. It looks like at this point they're probably not going to drop the interview until next week, which makes all the sense in the world, so that all the talk can be about AEW and everything. But that was pretty insightful. But Owen Hart, I mean, look, you know, it's unfortunate. I'm always reminded every year because somebody brings up Owen Hart, you know, and yeah, you know, we should never forget it's great going down revisionist history and everything. And the last thing I want to do is beat that horse to death of Owen Hart Hall of Fame. You all know where I stand with regards to that. You know, it's a no-brainer. We've talked about Martha Hart so many times over the years. Not even funny, you know, but yeah, 20th anniversary since the passing of Owen Hart. You go on the Facebook page and you can actually relive the moment where Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler had the unfortunate responsibility to let the listeners know, that fans know at home, that Owen Hart had passed away. And I don't know how many of you guys were aware, but Jerry Lawler had actually left his commentating booth and was among one of the first people to physically go and check on Owen. And, you know, the look on Jerry's face speaks 1,000 words. If there's nothing else I'm forgetting, I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to say that's it. We're going to stick a page in it, and we're going to call this DONE done. One thing I do want to touch upon from what Sergio was saying earlier, for you guys that were like, Cody talked about it on his YouTube channel or whatever, basically with regards to Adam Page not wrestling at AEW Double or Nothing. The way it's looking, there's a story arc here where Page had informed the fans that he would not be allowed to wrestle on this Saturday's pay-per-view, saying, and I quote, "Hey guy, I'm checking in because apparently it is my responsibility to tell you that due to recent events, I will not be allowed to compete at Double or Nothing. I'm sure that none of you are disappointed. I'm sorry. Let me reread that. I am sure that none of you are as disappointed or pissed off about the situation as I am. But I will be at StarCast on Friday doing a meet and greet, and I'm sure that the entire show itself will be great." And afterwards, a saddened Page then goes to flip the camera as it cuts away. So that's pretty much how it had went down. Also, Austin Aries. I do want to touch upon Austin Aries because somebody had made a really cool last point on social media. They had said, well, if Pac is being this goddamn difficult to work with because of creative differences and all that, he fucking makes Austin Aries look like a saint. And Austin Aries had actually went on record, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have the exact tweet in front of me, but he basically had said, no, the only time I act difficult to somebody is when they're not being responsible in the ring, when they're being a bullshitter and I'm calling them out on their bullshit. They're doing something they have no business doing. If you want to look at all of those traits and consider me to be someone difficult to work with, then sure, whatever. That's pretty much what Austin Aries had said in a nutshell. And last, I can't believe I almost forgot about this. I saw what everybody was saying, kind of going back to the whole Ashley Massaro thing. I saw what everybody was saying about Rebby Hardy. And Rebby Hardy was getting the death threats. And look, I don't need to go 10 minutes on this. Here's my point. One, a lot of you all, and this really goes out to the wrestling websites and all this other shit too, right? But people, when it comes to social media, y'all need to do a better job in looking at the date and the timestamps for when some of the people that you're following are putting stuff out there on social media. And I say that because Rebby Hardy mentioned, and I want to make sure this is really, really stressed, okay? Because I see there's a lot of confusion that's out there. So the timing of when the news had broke about Ashley Massaro and Rebby Hardy putting out a tweet where she did a smiley face emoji and a kiss. And it had everybody in an uproar going, "Oh, you bitch! Oh, this and all that." I've been a fan of Rebby Hardy's for a couple of years now. You know, she's another one that, you know, I like reading her stuff. I love seeing what's going on with the kids. And I guess there's that part of me because as I'm getting older, you know, I'm ready to have a family of my own already. You know, so I love seeing what's going on with her and the kids and everything. And really it's kind of my way of what's going on with Rebby, because Rebby, one of my favorites. I was kind of mad that I came on board to being a fan of hers late in the game when pretty much, you know, it was all about really supporting Matt and everything he was doing in Impact and then having the first child and everything. But, you know, as soon as this all breaks out and everybody's just going, "Oh, you know, you bitch, you this, you know, how could you disrespect the dead, blah this, blah that." I saw nobody say this. And nobody has said this to this very day. And I'm saying it now. People, look at the date and the timestamps for when people are putting shit out there on social media. Because had you done that, and then for Rebby to say, "What are you guys talking about? I was watching Drag Race. What are you guys talking about? I did not mention Ashley Massaro whatsoever." And she continued to get the bullshit. I looked at the timestamp for when she did the smiley face and the kiss emoji. I actually went on the Drag Race's official Twitter account. And for you guys that don't know anything about Drag Race is a series that is hosted by RuPaul. And it's about all of these young gay men or maybe straight men that are trying to do everything they can to get the crown of being the drag queen, I guess, for that season or whatever. And they're doing all of these fun little obstacles or whatever, just a little bit that I've seen on TV. Because when you're watching Investigation Discovery, or you're watching anything Discovery related, you usually see commercials for that type of shit all the time, okay? So I went on the Drag Race's Twitter account, and I'm looking at the date, I'm looking at the time that certain things are happening. Because new episodes, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to rely on you all that like those type of shows. No disrespect, I'm just saying, you know, everybody's got their own favorites, right? But I have to rely on you all. But I believe, if I remember it right, new episodes come on Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then they do an encore, I guess, immediately afterwards or whatever. So I'm looking at the Twitter account and I'm looking at the timestamps for when they're putting out certain things that are happening throughout the episode on Drag Race. And wouldn't you know it, it matches up leading up to when Rebby puts out the smiley face and the kiss emoji. Because she's doing a little something right before that. She's commenting on the show a little bit right before that. And then when it comes to the kiss emoji, smiley face, everything leads up to that. For me, this was nothing more than people that have just always have had some type of a infatuation of not liking Rebby Hardy. That's what this is all about. You know, she has had her fans that, you know, and this is the thing. Rebby Hardy can swing with the best of them. If you come at Rebby Hardy on social media, you better bring your breakfast and your lunch, because it's going to be a whole day. Because she will tear your ass up. She will tear your ass up. She's one of the most outspoken people that's out there on social media. And when you're in the wrong, oh, she is so on your ass. So for me, looking at everything that was coming about with Rebby, a lot of people, they wanted so desperately to believe that Rebby was just off of the past history. And you know what? Look, not for nothing, that's Rebby Hardy's right. That's Rebby Hardy's right. Wait, is she really supposed to, what, is she supposed to say rest in peace? Hey, we never did really meet eye to eye on some things, very tragic. Yeah, if, but it wasn't the case, because you could look at the timestamp. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if she did, what is she supposed to? No. But here's the case right here where she was not talking about Ashley. And not for nothing, but people, put two and two together. Why should a woman that is currently married to Matt Hardy do her part in saying something kind or whatnot about someone that Matt Hardy used to date that had a negative influence on his life? Where in the blue fuck does that make sense? Somebody explain that to me. So wait a minute. The wife is supposed to put over an ex? Yeah, that doesn't sound right. How about the wife doesn't say anything at all? And if anything, Matt Hardy is the one that puts out the statement and says, hey, on behalf of the Hardy family, we want to just send our condolences, our thoughts and prayers, blah, da, 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 especially to the daughter, blah, 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 blah. People just really wanted to believe so bad. And then even when they were shown, no, you're kind of wrong. Again, as far as self-accountability and all that shit goes, here you are again, people are dodging like a motherfucker. I had a field day reading that shit. I really, really did. Just go back. That's my challenge to you guys. Just go back. You can easily see it. It's there for a reason. When you're on your desktop and you are on Twitter, you can see the timestamp. You can see the date. You can see the time. If I'm not mistaken, I believe you can even see that information on your phone as well. If you are on your respected tablet device, you can see the timestamp. You can see the date. So it definitely matches up to what she was watching and how she was reacting, right? So enough said with regards to that. And congrats to Dean Malenko. Some news came in just now. Dean Malenko has now joined All Elite Wrestling. So, good for him. 18 years producing behind the scenes for basically the WWE, and he's now come on over to AEW. Hey, great acquisition for that company as far as I'm concerned. So on that note, that is going to do it. I'm wishing all of you guys, hey, beautiful weather out here this Friday afternoon at the time that we're recording this show. I'm loving it. I'm hardly using my lights. I'm mainly relying on light coming in from my blinds here. It's gorgeous outside. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to enjoy me some of this weather. Maybe go out and grab a bite to eat. I will be with you guys Saturday. I got to double check, but I believe I will be on Wrestling Soup Saturday. As soon as Double or Nothing goes off the air, if something changes in a way where maybe I'm not going to be heading on over to them, then I'll go on ahead. As soon as Double or Nothing wraps up, I'll be live on YouTube, usual outlets, and we'll do a Double or Nothing post show from you guys. But you know what? If you want to know the skinny on what all is going to be going down, do stay connected to me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR show. I also put up little community posts on the YouTube communities tab that you can always check out as well. But once again, give me a follow. Give me that follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR show. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. You enjoyed this episode, make sure you like it, all that good shit, share it, all that good stuff. Shout out to everybody that had tuned in live this Friday afternoon. Shout out to Kelton, shout out to Philip, shout out to Sergio, shout out to Nasty Nate. Who else we got in there, man? Who else? Shout out to Who else we got in there? Shout out to Noah. Who else we got in there? I think everybody. Just shout out. You guys know who you are. Shout out to all you guys. All right. So that's gonna do it. Wishing all you to be safe. Most importantly, kind to one another. We will do this for you all next go round. Adios.